Okay, folks. This is Colin from Kincaid Outdoors, and this is my Thursday live stream. Sorry for the hat change, but not sure where my regular hat went to. I'm going to have a special guest coming up here in a minute here, so if you guys give me a moment. Hey, Cecilia, how you doing? Ron, if you're still in the building, please come on up. Okay, I have the things for the drawing already figured out. So I'm not sure what so you can get Ron up here. Hey Mandy, how you doing? Hey Ron, if you could come on up. The link is in the description in the chat there. So come on up and we'll just get started and all that other fun stuff. I'm just going back through some pictures, so bear with me here to have enough pictures for everything I want to show you guys. Hopefully, if everything goes well, I'll have stuff to show you. That's what I think is pretty cool from both the rendezvous I've done and possibly some other reenactments. Hey Rob, how you doing? Hey Cliff. Oh no, I actually said that I misplaced my hat. I can't remember what I did with it. Oh wait. Aha, I got it back. I did. Right there. This is the second time I put the link up. Well, actually, no, third time I put the link up. Link is up, folks. Waiting for Ron to pop in. Hopefully, we had some issues last time, so hopefully things will be going better. And I have a plan for the drawing. Yes, I do. It's going to be a little different. At least I think so. And here comes Ron. How you doing, brother?
How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. Glad you could make it.
My day going. Let me go out and come back in. Something's going on with my phone here, and I'm not hearing you very well.
That's perfectly fine.
Okay.
There you go, and he'll come back in the stream here. Not sure if that works.
No, I gotta go completely out.
Okay. Hey, South, how you doing, brother? Cheryl, thank you for coming.
Hey, did you tell Mandy I got a new cross stitch pattern?
No.
When she comes over and she starts doing the cross stitch.
Oh, yeah, you can tell her yourself. This is you and her, not me and you and her. I have nothing to do with the cross stitch stuff. Whatever. I love you. You know that, right?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Ron to re-enter the chat. He is having issues with the sound. He couldn't hear me very well. I will let you guys a little sneak peek. This is the bag with the Firesteel. It's going to be for later's the drawing in a bit. Well, technically it's not a, well, it is, but it isn't. I may have to use a different thing because I don't think this one is going to work. I got another bag somewhere. Let's misplace it. Oh, it's going to have to go with this bag because it's what I got. Let's put it somewhere else. Nope. This is it. And he's back. Take 2.
Yeah.
Testing. Can you hear me now, brother?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit here.
Okay. I found the canvas bag for that I'm going to use for the giveaway. You know, and just to show people again what I'm going to be doing after we get done talking with Ron here for a little bit. We're going to give this dragon-headed Firesteel away. As you can see, so many things you could do with this. And then a bunch of fat wood to go with it. And for those, okay, give me a second. Ooh, I'm throwing something different in here because I didn't have it last time. A little teeny bag of magnesium. Which hopefully that'll help get fires going. I don't have a flint to put in here with it or chert, unfortunately. But hopefully it'll do somebody some good right there. This little bag came from Trend Art. So that's what I got. So Ron, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good.
So
Colder and crap up here.
Oh, I bet. I've been seeing snow. It's like someone's measured in Minnesota off their deck 10 inches off of one of their chairs.
Yeah.
10 inches. You know what we got down here? We got rain. That's all we got. I mean, it didn't even, below freezing or anything, just rain.
Yeah.
I've been wearing shorts to work for the last month or so. So go figure. So on the topic of rendezvous, buckskinning, whatever title you wish to call it, I've heard it called many different things. You told me a little bit about when I talked to you last time, how you got into it. But could you enlighten people how you kind of fell into it, so to speak?
Well, I got into it basically making my first muzzleloader and then going to shoots, and then it went from there and just kept flourishing. And kind of becomes a thing that you want to do a lot. But here recently, in the last several years, I haven't been able to do a whole lot because of different health problems.
Yeah, among other things, the pandemic didn't help matters much. But I did the same thing with archery for the same reasons. Because we do a lot of different things different ways, but the same thing. So that's pretty cool. You said you had your own buckskins?
Well, I don't have them in here. I didn't bring all my stuff out here because
I understand.
I got so much stuff.
Do you have any pictures of you in the buckskins?
My wife's buried them somewhere. She's put them in a book and she's buried them someplace, and that's to be anywhere around here. I mean, she's got a lot of places to hide things she don't want me to get hold of.
Is that good or bad?
I don't know. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's bad. I don't know yet. I'll have fun going through everything one day, but
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I
do have a few small things that I brought out here with me.
Okay.
Just to show, and I also wanted to kind of lighten the people up on how to make char cloth. Cool. And a few other small things.
Good to know.
But I'll show you a couple things I picked up over the years.
Give me one moment, please, Ron.
Okay.
A good friend of mine who I have not seen in over 6 months has just come in the chat. Nicole, my sister, where have you been? I missed you. I haven't seen her in a long time. She's been working a lot nights. So thank you for coming. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Let me
One
do a
of them is
solo on this one here for you.
a necklace. Here's a necklace here. It's made out with oh gosh, I can't think of the name of it now.
Turquoise?
It's what? Yeah, turquoise.
My wife
Thanks.
right here helped me keep
It's
on
got
track. So
It's got a few it's got 4 little turquoise crosses on it. Let me get it in the right spot here. There we go. 4 turquoise crosses, a couple agates of quartz, and then it's got a 18 $17.95.
wow. That's impressive.
Yeah,
All that turquoise and did you do the carving yourself or did someone do the carving for you?
I did it myself. I did my own beadwork, which I'll show you a piece of that in a minute. But let me get
pretty cool.
organized here. Here's a hairpin. I've remade this one several times. This is a hairpin necklace with a rattlesnake rattle in the middle of it. You ain't setting in the right spot here. Let me get push. Okay, there you go.
Go over
Rattlesnake
to your left.
rattle.
You need to go
That's
to your left just a little bit.
Yeah, that used to be a couple inches long. Now it's only about an inch long. It keeps breaking off because they're so brittle.
Right.
But I got that there, and I put this together with harness lacing and tied around my neck.
Right.
Then I've got my ancient medicine bag.
Wow. I don't have one of those.
Yeah, well, when you do it enough and you get into the right people and stuff and showing it to you, this is basically a Western style medicine bag, and I've got my initials to my name that they called me way back when, which is a CC. It's put into black letters there, kind of corresponding with each other. They're kind of overlapping. And then I've still got my medicine in here.
What did they call you?
Used to call me Crazy Crow.
Crazy Crow. Okay.
Yeah, because I could go off into the woods and I'd come around and I would be able to come back out in the right position or know where I was at any given time. And I got some, let's see here. I've got a 1980 penny that I put in there when I started doing it heavily. And then I've got some, I don't know if I can pick these up or not. These are little shark's teeth I got in Maryland.
Oh, wow.
These are off of the, these are thousands of years old or millions of years old.
Yeah. My boys found a few as well.
Yeah.
I understand
I've
completely.
also got some flag root, which is just about gone to crap. Been in there for a long time. And a steel ball somebody give me.
Little ball bearing.
Yeah, it's a steel ball bearing. And something real interesting in here. I killed a snake. I killed a rattlesnake when I was out in the field one day. Ran over him with a Jeep. And I've got his, and these are still quite deadly.
You got the fangs?
Yeah.
Yeah, just be careful.
Uh-oh, something has tore up my medicine bag a little bit on the inside here.
Could be the
Maybe
teeth.
the rattlesnake is having his way with me.
Maybe.
Hold on a second. Let me get a pair of hemostats down here. There's a pair.
Mine are in the other room. I didn't, I've got like 3 or 4 pair.
So this snake here had 3 fangs.
3?
3. He was dropping
rare.
one. It was dropping one.
Oh, go up a little bit. Can't see.
Oh gosh. Well, I know what that is now. That was the sweet grass I had in there.
Okay.
That was all this basically deteriorated.
It happens.
Yeah. And I've got my first muskrat that I caught buckskinning. Got his
I can't.
His toenails.
Ah, there you go. Okay.
And in here, in this little packet right here, I've got the 3 rattlesnake fangs.
Be
Now
careful.
they still have they'll still hold poison, and it's dried over the years since about 1982.
Still
So
pretty
I don't
deadly.
want to
So
drag them out.
I don't actually have to warn you. You know the risks just as much as I do, because we're both medics. We understand completely.
Yep. But anyway, that's what I got in my medicine bag. Normally, you're not supposed to tell people what you got in your medicine bag, but I've got 3 of them. So
You
this
have to
is one of them.
time to time. So they do change.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Yeah,
I
I've got
don't
3 medicine bags, and one of them was given to me by a Crow Indian here on the reservation.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. He made it himself and give it to me.
Well, that makes it special.
Yeah. But it's not made out of a brain tan piece of doe hide. This is made out of brain tan doe hide here.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because most people don't realize any living mammal has enough brains to tan its entire hide.
Except us.
No, even
we don't have enough brains to do anything.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Well, that is
I had
true
to
and
throw
not
that
true
in
at
there.
the same time.
Yeah.
But
And a
most
couple
people
other things I brought with I didn't get all my knives out. I should have brought my buffalo skinner down, but here's my BK throwing knife.
Oh, okay. I've seen many of those.
This is my hand. And you see how long this thing, it's about 10 and a half, 11 inches long.
Right.
And this is a BK throwing knife. It's made by, well, here it is right here on the side. Kempler. And I don't think they're making knives anymore. I got this back it would have been early 1980.
I was in junior high.
Yeah. I've also got my real hand forged tomahawk, and as I show it up here close, you can see the hammer marks in it when they made it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's made with right in here is where they forge welded the
blade to the haft.
Yeah, the blade. It's a high carbon blade on it.
Okay.
And it's gone through many handles. And and let me show you my striker. Here's my striker.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You said that
how I hold it is like this, and I hold it with my little finger and my big finger, and put 2 fingers in the middle of it here.
Okay.
That's how I hold it. That way I don't skin my knuckles. You're more apt to not hit your knuckles if you don't stick the hand all the way into it. So I've only got like that much fingertip into it.
Okay.
And if it gets this going rough, then I can hang it from this one here and do the same thing again. Okay. And it still does the same thing. I've had this one here since, I think I made this one in late 79, early 80, when I made this flint striker.
I do mine like this. Just pass my first give me a moment. I do mine like this. Just pass the first knuckle.
Yeah, well, when you're under pressure,
my left.
When you're under pressure, though, you're liable to scrape the crap out of your knuckles.
Well, I've also done it this way too.
Yeah.
But you can change whichever way you want to do it.
Yeah, it's all technique.
But also, I will say this: when your freaking fingers are cold, it is harder than hell to do this right. I mean, oh man! And the thing is,
that's why I kept this one in here, because you can at least get one finger somewhere on it to hold it.
Well, it's not so much this part. This part here, at least it's not going to fall off your hand. But it's when you're holding your flint or shirt or whatever your material is, you end up scraping your hand or something. You don't realize you've cut your hand until after.
Yeah, after you get the fire made and your hands are warming up.
Exactly. But it's a good sign saying, hey, don't do that.
Yeah. Here's my tinder box.
Oh, that's cool.
This is an original styled tinder box from PL8. They made these back in the 80s.
Oh wow.
And what I do is I keep my char cloth in it because you're going to pick up your tinder wherever you can get it.
Oh right.
See, I can put a ton of char cloth in it.
Right.
So let me just kind of dump it out here. That's how much char cloth I can put in it.
Well, I go for the old fashioned Altoids tin. Bear with me here on that one. I mean, it's not original, but they work.
Yeah, the guys look like this in here so much they give me one of them at one of the shoots, or I traded for it or something. I got it at one of my shoots I had, and I've been carrying it ever since. I've taken it to the field. It's got dents and crap in it. You know, it's been hammered a little bit. And that's about it for that part.
I'm going to ask you something a little off wall, I guess. Everybody talks about the stuff they put on their belt, but what kind of belt do you use?
Well, I use
your stuff. Not everybody.
I didn't bring my belt out with me. I use a 4-inch belt, and I cut 6 holes on one end and 6 holes on the other end. Mm-hmm. And then what I do is I took some horseshoe nails and bend them like that. Mm-hmm. I pass them through the one and then the other, and then I've got a grabber that I don't have to worry about scraping myself on. It's up against my stomach. Right. But it's a real short, close, basically a holding for my belt. Okay. And I've got 3 of them on my belt. Yeah. That holds the 4-incher down.
This is the belt I use. There's the buckle.
Yeah.
You know, just simple, to the point. I am ashamed to say that I have to make a new one.
But that happens.
I got a little big around the middle. But on a good note, I can replace, I can take everything apart fairly easily. Oh, yeah.
Chicago screws.
It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, I also have an option of wearing my kilt belt if I really want to go fancy, but I generally don't. And kilts are perfectly acceptable, folks, just to let you know.
Yeah, I've also got a daggone waist sash. It's basically and I've got the legging sashes with it too. They got pony beads on them.
I need to get some.
Yeah, they got pony beads mixed into them, and let's see. I've gone through so many moccasins, I don't know which ones I've got left in there. I got 3 pairs of moccasins. One pair I wear is more the Plains Indian style.
Right.
And then I've got a couple others that are more of the east of the Mississippi style.
I did cheater ones for the longest time. I used a Minnetonka moccasin.
Yeah, one pair of mine is Minnetonka.
I wore the low ankle boot ones because it was just easier for me. I tried the longer ones, but my legs are so freaking short between the knee and the ankle, it just went over my knee, which made it very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But I wore out so many of those because they're always too narrow for my feet.
Oh, yeah.
My wife says I have what's called hobbit feet, extremely wide feet. So Minnetonkas go
pretty much basically stuck with making your own if you want a well fit one, or find somebody who can make them for you.
Oh, I talked to several bootmakers throughout the different events I've been to, and I told them my boot size once. He said, "There's no way your feet are that big." I was barefoot at the time, and they measured my feet 10-6 wide.
Yeah,
that's.
Well,
I mean, I gotta
give Dyer Mock a call.
Who?
Dyer Mock.
Okay, I don't think I've heard that.
Dyer Moccasin, they make the best moccasins you'll ever have.
Ooh.
I had a pair and somebody picked them up for me. They ran off with them.
Oh man,
They're a little expensive, but they're made really good. They're double soled, so you don't wear them out very fast. And if you take care of them a little bit, like try to keep them cleaned off when you're not wearing them, and keep them oiled a little bit.
right.
Put a little neat's foot oil or some waterproofing on them.
I've
It'll
got some waterproofing
lubricate it.
material I keep with me every day. So
Yeah. Those are the best moccasins
there.
on the market. I don't care what anybody says.
Like I said, I just went with the cheapy Minnetonkas because that's what I could find at the time when I first got involved. I've only been involved in VU since 2014.
Yeah.
And I only went because my friend who was a blacksmith was the blacksmith for the VU that he was at, and I was just checking it out. I go, this is cool, because I normally do medieval reenactments and Civil War reenactments and things like that, but this is the first time I ever had to do something I didn't have to be anything.
Yeah.
Didn't have to make any money, didn't have to work, and it was nice.
Yeah.
It was relaxing.
Well, there's a lot of places to get good stuff at that is time period for what you're trying to set up. And one of them I like is the Log Cabin Shop. They have a big selection, and so does Crazy Crow Trading. And you can Google them and have them send you a catalog. They got fairly good sized catalogs. Not
What's
quite
it called
a
again?
Sears Roebuck catalog, but it's pretty good size.
What are they called again?
One of them is the Log Cabin Shop.
Okay. I'm looking at their website now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they got tons of stuff in there, man.
Okay, I wish I would live closer.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And the other one is Crazy Crow Trading.
I already know about Crazy Crow.
Okay.
I'm actually, subscribed to them. So
Yeah. The Log Cabin Shop is probably the thickest one as far as how much stuff they have. They have a large selection of gear. Whereas
right.
Crazy Crow has a lot of stuff for like beading and making the jewelry and the accoutrements and stuff. But you can't find those things like a good tinderbox. Or you'll even see that you'll even see your pipe box in there, the one with the magnifier on it.
Yeah,
I couldn't find mine. I think mine's in one of my bags.
Okay.
But there's just tons and tons of stuff.
Have you ever heard of the Smoke and Fire Company?
I've heard of them, but I haven't got a catalog from them or anything. I'm not really that active anymore. I'm more or less just kind of like do it for my own.
Yeah, that's the reason I did it, because when I first got involved, I was trying to find the proper gear. Luckily, a lot of the same reenactment equipment I already owned crossed over, which really helps.
Yeah.
I actually have some pictures of my campfire and setups that you might be, think is cool or not cool or whatever, your choice. But I'm just trying to find it on Facebook, because I have them on my Facebook page.
Yeah.
I have a lot of archery stuff more than anything else. Wait a second here. Is that it? Well, this one's not mine. That's my friend Bill's. I don't know where mine is. I'll find it later. But when what kind of lodge did you use while you were active?
What?
Your tent, your lodge, your whatever. What'd you sleep in?
Basically, I just slept in a row.
Really?
I had my own blankets, and I made a lean-to. Basically, I didn't get into the Baker tents. A lot of guys were into the Baker tents. I just set up my daggone lean-to because heck, I was ex-infantry then. I was used to sleeping without nothing, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But I kept it to a bare minimum because what I carried in, I had to carry out.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I used to drive an old minivan that carried everything I had. And back in the day, I was homeless for a while, and it was great. I had all my gear with me no matter where I went.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. I was homeless, but I was fully employed.
Yeah.
It's usually an oxymoron. When you don't have a house, you don't have a job.
Yeah.
I was the opposite. I had a job but no house. It was just hard to find a place to live.
But some places it is hard to find a place, no matter what your job is. I mean, you know.
But finding a place to shower.
A lot of times, though, our campsites were set up away from everything, and we had to carry it in. And some guys made copious amounts of trips to their truck to get it, and I just carried in what I needed. I didn't carry, you know, your daggone tripod set or a camp wear set.
I do have those.
Well, I have them now, but I didn't back then. I just kept it to the bare minimum because that's what the mountain man had. He had just what he could get in there and get out, you know, and what he could put on a horse is what he was limited to.
Give me a moment. I will show you something I think is really freaking cool because it works. Probably would work for you if you would have had it back then. I picked this up in a secondhand shop, antique store, whatever, for $5. Ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not very big, but that's enough for a soup for one.
Yep.
And you don't really need a tripod. You can just, lash some sticks together and.
Well, actually, you just set it on the coals and you'll cook with it. You know.
Oh yeah.
Depending on what you're doing with it.
Yeah.
You bake bread in it.
I never did the bread thing. I did a lot of soups because it was just easier. That's back when
Bisquick was the fastest way to do it because it rises so quickly, and it basically cooked real quick, and you could have it done in 10 or 15 minutes from the time you started to the time you got it off of the fire. You'd have it done.
It's like making bannock basically.
Yeah,
with the Bisquick. I did. Let's see here. I was going to say something and I totally lost it when you started talking about Bisquick because I haven't had that in years, and I'm thinking biscuits and gravy now. Back in the day, there used to be something called Soup Starter, if you remember that.
Yeah.
Came in a big circular can and all that stuff. All you needed is that and some beef jerky, and you had a meal.
Well, the thing is, with Soup Starter, you could just add your daggone flavoring and use pemmican without anything added to it, just the meat and grease, the beef oil. Let it harden up, and you had something that lasts for as long as you wanted to stay out there. I mean, hell, it lasts for 30 years. And then you could just add your seasoning to taste, and you had your soup starter. Add a few things you could find laying around on the ground, like some wild onions or whatever. But I always kept it quite simple. I didn't spend a whole lot of time trying to get comfortable. By the time I went to bed, I was ready to sleep, and by the time I got up, I ate and then went out, came back, and did the same thing over again.
Oh yeah, because usually you put it near the coals, but not on the coals to keep it warm, but not boiling.
Yeah,
that's what I did. The only thing I couldn't live without that I had to bring was a little camp coffee pot.
You have to have coffee.
I mean, without coffee, I was literally a bear.
Without coffee, I'm dead.
I'm glad that well, ever since I got into backpacking after my heart attack, I love backpacking foods. It makes a big difference.
Oh yeah.
It's just
Yeah, I got some Mountain House hanging here on the wall.
favorite Mountain House. Ron, what's your
Huh?
favorite? What's your favorite?
Mountain
one?
House, either the well, let me look here. Chili mac with beef or beef stew.
Well, both are
Those
good.
are the two I basically go with.
I like the breakfast skillet. As long as I bring some tortillas, I can make breakfast burritos that way.
Yeah.
That works out really well for just a quick, easy meal. You don't need a pan or anything. Just throw everything in the tortilla, and you're good to go. And the tortillas roll up really nice in your pack, so that's a bonus. And you can usually get
Right.
two or three meals out of that one pack, so that helps.
I like to keep my selection down to the point to where I don't fight over my thoughts of which one I want the most, So I just keep it down to two different ones, and one of them's for energy, the other one's for the protein,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's as far as I go.
Well, that's why I go with the breakfast skillet in the morning, because it's got all that protein. It's got the meat, it's got the eggs,
Yeah,
That-
but eggs make me fart bad, man.
Well, I'm not you. I don't have to worry about it.
No, I keep mine down to just a few select ones that I like the most, and if I want something else, I'll drag along a can,
Right.
But
Well,
other than that, I'm not very selective about what I have to have,
right.
nor is what I need to survive with for the weekend or the week or whatever,
Well, at the one we do at the Two Rivers Rendezvous, is that we actually have a communal meal on the after the first day. Everybody gets together, we all cook something. They have a judging contest, who makes the best dish, whatever it is.
Yeah.
My wife came in second this year. Yay. She made, please bear with me, Hawaiian cowboy stew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a friend of he was a friend of mine who lives in Hawaii. Sent us some Hawaiian spices, and she mixed it in with her cowboy stew that she makes.
Yeah.
This is the second year that she's done the contest that she's actually won one of the top 3 prizes. So she's amazing. I did have a question for you about your pemmican. I've seen different people make it different ways. How do you make yours?
Well, what I do is I don't slice it up. I just grind the crap up with the grinder.
Mm-hmm.
I squirt it out on my dryer with a jerky squirter, and just let it just get hard as a brick bat, sort of crunch up real good, and you can make it into a powder. And that's the key to it, is to get it as fine as you can, so you don't have any hard bits in it.
Right. Oh, I've eaten some that's got stuck in your teeth. It's as hard as rocks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you grind it up real good and you get it squished down with your beef tallow and let it cool, it'll last forever. But if you get those hard spots in it, sometimes they can get a little sour too.
They get a little rancid.
So
a little
if
bit.
you grind, if you just grind it up, and what I use a food processor. I throw it in there, turn it on, and give it a minute, and look at it and see if it's a powder. And it's pretty much worked down to a powder too.
Oh, that's good.
And then take it and dump it out and put some more in there and get what I need by weight, and then go for it. Mix it up and spread it out, cool it, and let it set.
I have a couple of ways of doing that. We have a mixer that we could use, but we also have a mortar and pestle that we could use if we really want to go really fine on the grinding.
Well, I've got a pair of grinding rocks.
I don't have anything like that.
Authentic ones. I didn't make these. These came off the ground.
Oh,
they were right next to each other out in the plains.
So that's where they were left when they were. Yeah.
Somebody said, "No, I ain't carrying these rocks. Just toss them off. But get some more later."
Or something came up and they had to run. And they had
probably was. I have no idea. I don't even know how old they are as far as the way they are, but they form together perfectly.
Well, they've been used many, many times. Looks like. Right?
Yeah, they're probably They might be 500 years old. I don't know. You know, I mean, but it makes a good coffee grinder too.
That's good to know.
And it's not bulky. You can sandwich them together and they're about that wide.
Wow.
Or about that deep. But the rocks are like probably 4 inches wide and about 7 inches long.
Oh.
But they're made out of the same rock. I haven't been able to figure out what it is. I don't want to clean it, but to find out what the rock is, I just clean it to keep the crud off of it.
Right. Keep it
but
clean.
they sit together perfectly, and you can sit there and you can move them, and you can feel the whole movement in your hand.
Wow.
And you just hold them in your hand like this, and you just rub it back and forth and grind up what you want.
Wow. You could probably grind up your tobacco the same way.
Oh, you probably could. I mean, you can probably grind up anything, bones, whatever, add a little bit of calcium to your bread.
Well, whatever works. Let's see here. I'm trying to think of other things to ask you that I know what I do, but you're a lot more authentic than I am. But then again, I'm coming at it from a different angle as a reenactor of multiple different genres. So, how did you get your first set of buckskins?
I made them.
Okay, you hunted down.
Actually, what I did was I bought the hides and I just got me a pattern, cut it out, sewed them up. I didn't put them together the way they show you in these, what I like to call hissy magazines.
Right.
I didn't say pissy, I said hissy magazines.
I understand.
Where they poke the hose in them and run the big, thick pieces of leather through them. Yeah. No, I baseball stitched these together with leather.
Oh, wow.
And they're still holding up today.
Oh, I bet.
I baseball stitched them with a large bag needle, and I sewed them up so they're nice and tight. And the whole thing has to get wet for the seam to fail on it. You have to be completely wet for the water to get through the seam. If they're not oiled, they're just basically, they got all kinds of stuff all over them. Whenever I wipe my hands, I wipe them on my leg, and that's what was on them.
Okay. Cecilia said she could make me a slipper, I guess, in my own size, and she can make it to fit. I just got to send my. Well, I hate to say, please bear with me, but I've got a big honking foot.
Yeah. You got 6 toes there, don't you?
Nope. They're just really, really big and fat. No, I've actually had big feet all my life. It's just it runs in the family. No pun intended. How did you find events to go to? There you go. That's by Evan. He's actually one of our youngest, people in here.
But that's one of the things I haven't done. I haven't chased it down for a number of years here because basically either my work or my injuries didn't allow me to go running around the countryside, because out here in Montana, they are stretched way apart and they may be months between each one of them.
Right.
They do have them out here, but I've yet to find one of them at the time that I needed, that I wanted to go, that I wanted to get to them.
And you're
because
healthy enough to
just
go.
Kind of like I get a notice about 3 days ahead of time that they're having one. It's like, well, crap, I ain't gonna make it. I got some stuff I got to do.
Yeah, my paycheck's not until next week. I mean, but usually for me, I mean, if I have to drive, at least 100 miles plus to get somewhere.
Oh,
hey,
at least
Travis,
that.
thank you for coming.
At least that here. I mean, some of them are 500 miles apart. I mean, one side of the state, and I'm on one side of the state, or it's up to the north, up near the Canadian border. I mean, basically the best way to find them is to get on something like Facebook, on one of the sites that I like to get on just to talk to guys is Shining Times on Facebook.
I don't think I've got that one. I do have.
Well, there's a whole bunch of them on. There's a whole bunch of sites on there. I've got about 10 or 12 of them that I periodically look at, and they'll post their rendezvous. They had a rendezvous out here not too long ago. I think it was in the springtime. And it was over here probably about 60 miles from me.
Right.
But I didn't find out about it till the day after it happened. I mean, you know, I seen it on Facebook, like, well, crap, I missed that one. And they had it on probably a week before that to just let everybody know it's still on schedule. But they also have things here that I don't go to. Is they have one that the Indians put on. They come from all over the United States. Of course, it's a tourist trap. You go to Crow Agency over here on the Crow Reservation here. It's on
the
off
powwow
of
they have up
I-90.
that way? That's the powwow. Is that the powwow they have up that way? I've heard
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
I
don't
don't
go to it for simple fact that there's just way too many people for my taste.
Oh, I can understand.
There'll be thousands. There'll be thousands of people there.
Right.
And you may walk your butt off to get over to where they're at from where you get the park at.
Right. There's a group here that you might be interested in. It's on Facebook here, and it says pre-1840s events and Black Powder Club Finder. When and where?
Yeah.
That's the title.
We have one here locally, but I just haven't joined the range to get on it.
Right. Wow. Okay. Okay. I will have to have Jenny do that. My feet are very, very big. Just not very long, just very big. My wife makes fun. My wife works at a shoe store, Ron,
yeah,
and she makes fun of my feet all the time.
I should just walk in there. Just walk in there sometimes. Say, here, I need to find a pair of shoes, and just watch her start laughing at you.
Yeah, I know. No, actually, no. With the exception of my work boots, she gets me all my boots because she won't let me buy Walmart brand boots or anyplace else anymore.
Yeah.
Because she just, oh man. The closest thing I can wear to boot right now is my sandals. And even though I could go barefoot and be perfectly fine, but it is, you know.
Yeah, you don't want to cut your feet at a late age in life.
No, done that.
Takes longer to heal.
Oh yeah. I mean, they're not fancy. They're Velcro, but they work.
Yeah. Let me back off here for just a little bit. I'm gonna shut my camera and my mic off. I gotta go see what my wife wants, which is probably something real easy and won't take but a minute.
They're in charge. We're not.
Yeah. All right, I'll be back.
Okay, folks. Let's see. How many people do we have in here at the moment? Let me check because I have an idea about it. See how many participants we have in chat. What happened? Did I hide it? I hope not. Let me reload that. What happened? Did I hide it? Oh, sorry. Okay. It won't let me see the. What the heck? I need to know how many people are in here. It's not helping me. Okay. My idea for when I do the drawing for the Firesteel, Dragon Firesteel, which is in this bag. It will be. I'm going to go totally geeky with you guys today, so bear with me. My idea for that is, depending on how many people we have in chat, I have D&D dice, folks. I plan on using some D&D dice, depending on how many people we have in the chat. And I'm going to give everybody a number. And then I'm going to roll the dice that I have, depending on how many we have. Whether it's going to be a die 20, a D20 and a D4, a D6, a D8, a D10, depending on how many we have. And that's who's going to win once I assign you guys a number. So I have different dice for different ways. I can see what I can do, Cecilia, because I can have Jenny printed out at work once she traces my feet. Because, well, yeah. Yeah, the only other option I could do is, yeah, you don't want that. I'm not going to give that idea. How's it going, Travis? Long time no see, brother. And is Nicole still in here, or is she gone already? Because I'm sorry, I was in the middle of an interview. Yep. I got some beauties. Muddled green. But I have some, D10s, D12, they're the basic set. I have a really nice set somewhere that got misplaced by my wife, and I have no idea what she did with them. She's got a metal set somewhere. What I was thinking, yeah, I could send you, the line, one of my old slippers, my sandals, but that's my size. This one's actually a little larger than my feet because I'm a size 10, but it's 6E wide. But I will see what I can do, Cecilia, because we are going to be sending your stuff out next week from Saturday because I have to wait till I get paid, obviously. And your pipes don't arrive until tomorrow. So I'm waiting for them to come in as well. Oh, I can understand that, Travis. Having a van is important. Yeah, the fire starter, that if you haven't seen it yet, Travis, actually, you have seen it technically because it's identical to the last one I was giving away. See, dragon-headed and everything. Look at that. Ooh, welcome back, Ron.
Yeah, I had to give my dog a shot.
I was explaining.
Yeah, she's diabetic.
I was explaining people the drawing and what I planned on doing with the drawing because I've seen everybody do their versions of the drawing, whether it's cometpicker.com and all this other fun stuff. I'm going to go old school D&D style, so bear with me. I'm gonna depending on the number of people in the chat, I'm going to assign everybody a name, yourself included.
I don't need one. Go ahead.
I know.
Go ahead and give them better odds.
Okay. Well, I'll assign everybody a number. And based on that number will be the dice I roll. If there's more than 20 people in here to enter, then I will do a D20 plus whatever the amount of people are. Because I've got D4s, D6s, D8s, D12s, and so forth. So I'll just roll that, and whoever gets that number, and that's how they win. It's totally random, and that's about the easiest way I can think of doing it. Oh, can I be 14? If you want to be 14, Mandy, you can be 14. But technically, see, Ron technically would have been number one since he was the first one here.
Yeah, well.
And Evan would have been 2 because Evan was the second one here. I'm not. Oh, no, I cannot just give it to you, Rob. Sorry, cannot do. I don't give away. You have to win it, okay? I have no clue who's going to win it. And all I know is that I hope whoever does receive it enjoys it and actually uses it. Because it's going to be a waste if they don't just let it sit on a shelf somewhere. They were meant to be used, right, Ron?
Yep. Learn to use it, save your life.
Well, that's why mine looks so war. Look at that wear pattern.
Look at that wear pattern.
It's like mine. This one actually.
That's just a striking face.
Yeah. Mine actually was borrowed by a VU that was going on at the Iowa State Fair a couple years ago, and I was showing the guys off who were in that part of that encampment, and he said, "Can I borrow this?" And he goes, "Sure." I go, "Sure." and they did a Firesteel, competitions who can get a fire started fastest. Mine won. So I'm proud about my steel. He tried to buy it off of me after that. I go, no, that was mine. No, Rob, I'm not selling it. But I do know where you can get one of your own. So bear with me. I will
Get
help
with
you
me
if you
later,
need it.
Rob. I'll make you one. If you don't win.
Rob's actually, he's a fellow Iowan. We've been fishing together. He's a really good guy. So we're supposed to go fishing soon. So we're going to work on getting that going again. We're doing well, Will. Thank you. Will gives plasma every Thursday. Just to let you know, if he does that, for both the money and for good reasons. So there you go. Yes, brother, I am mean. I want to make it fair. There's nothing wrong with me, that. No, I want to make sure that everybody has an equal chance. So I have no idea who's going to win. I don't know if I can put a camera on my dice as I roll for people to know that it is fair. But I want to make sure everybody's assigned a number who, in the chat, who's interested in winning. Okay, what is a D&D style? Okay. I'm going to take one of these dice with everybody assigned a number. And depending on how many people are in the chat who are wanting to enter, it'll be 1, 2, whatever number of people we have. And I'm going to roll them. And then I'm going to, whatever they are, if it's under 20, it's just going to be the D20. If it's over 20, I'll add the D20 plus whatever the thing is. Only to be fair. But then again, let's see. I have an issue with that.
Tell them to draw straws.
I can't draw straws. I don't have straws. No. The only issue with doing 2 dice at the same time is the fact is no one. It's always going to end up having more people doing 1 to 20 and then the extra number or something like that. So anything over 20. So hopefully we have under 20, so I don't have to do 2 dice. And then we'll do a thing. We'll figure it out. Nope, just a number, Mike. Just a number. Okay. Well, you only get one choice, and you got to choose. Not 7 or 17. You got to pick one. But Maddie did claim 14. Technically, Ron would have been number 1, but he's bowing out of this competition because he already has one. And I'm bowing out because I already have one. And you're not getting just the steel. You're getting the bagates coming in. You get some fat wood, some magnesium. No, I do not have an extra a flint. I'm sorry to say. So, are you okay, Ron?
Yeah. My dog started scraping down here, and I was wondering what she was getting into. She's just fluffing herself up a little spot on the floor here.
Okay, Victoria wants 8. Tristan, thank you for coming. Teresa, thank you for coming. She claims 9. Okay, I'm going to have to write these down. I don't have a pen. I'm just going to have to remember.
How many people took off their shoes to figure out what number they wanted?
Me.
You're not in the drawing. Some people can only count to 10. Some people have to take their shoes off.
I'm dyslexic. Does that count? No, I'm actually wanting everybody to be honest. So let's see what we can do. How many people do we have? Do we have anybody who claims number 1? So actually, the first person after you would have been Evan. If Evan wants to claim number 1, he can. But I got to, if Evan's in the building here, we got a 3. Mike claims 2. We got a 7. Oh. Okay, we had 2 people try to claim 7, so I need to know who's got 7 for real. Okay, Victoria. Somebody already chose 7. You have to choose something else. Will actually just settled on 7. So before you called it. Okay, that's okay, Tristan. We're getting ready to draw for the Firesteel, the dragon-headed Firesteel, and I'm going to need you to pick a number. Well, that's nice of you, Cliff. You're more than welcome. You know, if you want to come on up, Cliff, you can help me. Talk with Ron and everything. Cliff from Fox Outdoors usually co-hosts with me on Thursdays, but
Okay.
but he just okay. Okay, Evan took number 1. Okay, good. Sorry, Cheryl, you missed out. That's Evan. Evan's number 1. Hike with Mike is number 2. Cecilia wants 3. Who's number 4? Oh no, that's just so wrong. I like it, but it's wrong. 6 is afraid of 7 because 7, 8, 9. Okay, here we go. I've got 1, 2, 3. Who's got 4? I don't see a 4. I see a 5. Cornfed's got 5. Cheryl, number 1's already been called. Okay, Grace has got 4. Okay, 5 is Cornfed. 6. Who's got 6? Anybody got 6? Okay, Teresa's got 9. Victoria's got 8. Will's got 7, so we need a 6. Does anybody have 6? Because if it's less than 10, I got a 10-sider right here I can use. Okay, number 9 for Trail Trash. Travis. All right. Game Fowl's got 6. We got up to 9. Grace, you got 4. Or was it, which one did Grace get? Grace has got 4. Okay. Okay. We have all the way up to 9. Ted, thank you for coming. You're getting ready to do the drawing. I need you to pick a number from 10 to 20 because 1 through 9 has already been taken. 13 for Kentucky Girl. Okay, Cheryl. Okay, so that means we're going up to the deal. So we got, hey, Bob, thank you for coming. We're getting ready to do the drawing for the Firesteel. We're picking numbers. We got 1 through 9 has been covered. 13's been covered. We still have 10, 11, 12. 12 has been taken by Tiny Titan. Okay. So we need someone to take 10. Anybody got 10? Okay, I'm waiting to see what Ted does. Please forgive me, Ron. Go
ahead.
Yep, Teresa, you're still under 9 if you want to stay with 9. 14 for Amanda. That's right. So we still need a 10. Ted is 17. Okay. Okay, I think it's about good. 9 o'clock's a good time to call it because we've been going for about an hour. Okay, what is it? Who's repicking? Did someone's okay? Oh man, I wish I could show you these numbers when I roll. 1917 Bradley helmet.
Yep.
You never know when you might need it. This is actually my son's. He picked this up at a flea market a couple weeks ago. Let's see here. You want all the leftover numbers. That's okay, Ted. You're number 17. That's all. Okay. I'm gonna roll now. Okay, who tried to choose 9? Oh, okay, so that means Will was set. Well, you got to pick another number. If Teresa had a number first, you pick 7, but someone else picked 7 too. Give me a moment. I'm backtracking. Okay. Who chose 7 first? Okay. I think Will had 7 first. Then Victoria tried to take 7. So, Ron, I need a ruling. As an impartial.
Whoever picked it first keeps it.
Okay. I'm trying to find all the numbers. I'm just trying to keep everybody, everything honest and everything else. Okay. Okay, Travis, you're going to have to pick a different number because Teresa had 9 first. You can be number 10 if you want to be 10. I've tried that, but I don't want to write everything down and cut them out and all that other stuff. That takes more work.
If it's on the internet, it's there forever. Their choices are their choices.
Yep. So, Travis, you want to be 10? I'm not writing everything in. That means I would have to write them down, cut them out, fold them up, put them in a hat, then do all that. That takes time.
Yeah.
I'm too old for that. And this way I can just roll it, you give you guys a number, roll, and this will be what it is. Like I said, I'm going old school D&D on this one. So, does anybody have 10? Actually, that's also a good choice too, Evan. Roll the dice, and whoever picks the number wins. But the thing is, more than one person can pick the number. That's the only issue. That's
whatever number's left over that everybody's got, and there's one blank one, give it to me, and then I'll donate it to a number I'll think off the top of my head. Okay.
I accept that. Okay.
Now somebody will take it.
Okay. Well, the thing is, the only number that wasn't taken, I believe, was 11.
Okay, whatever number's left over, give it to me, and then I'll donate it to whoever it is who gets, whatever number I decide, they'll get it.
Okay. I'm going to go with this.
I don't know who you're talking about or who they are or anything.
Okay. Getting ready. It's like roulette. I got, who had number 6? Rolling back to see who had numbers. Tristan, Game Foul Outdoors. I want to show it to you, but I'm not sure exactly how. Wait, bear with me here. Oh, I don't know if this is going to work. Oh, come on, work.
Bring it up to your chin. Bring the head up to there you go.
Okay, I'm not sure if you guys can see it because I can't see the screen. No. If you can't see it, I'm sorry. It says 6. And there went my thing. But Tristan, you're the lucky winner. Please contact me after this chat. My email is in the about page on my page. Go to the about page. My email's in there. But Tristan from Game Foul Outdoors is the winner of the Firesteel and kit. Thank you, Tristan. I dropped my mouse and everything else. I feel like an idiot. Well, I'll figure something out because I've got to scroll down. Yep, I figured that was the easiest for me. It worked. And it was completely random. It was like a roulette wheel.
Yeah.
It kept on rolling. Okay. Where the heck did my freaking mouse go? Because I had a whole bunch of stuff fall off my thing when I was doing that.
It fell in a place you can't reach.
It usually does. I mean, the other day when I was doing my live last week, I moved my mouse I picked it up for I wouldn't lose it, set it aside. Then I forgot where I put it. I got it like 5 minutes before my live hit, and it just drove me nuts. But that worked out really well. I like that. I'm gonna try that. Do that again. I like that deal. But thank you, Tristan, for you're the winner. You're awesome. Okay, I will mail that out to you once I get your contact information next Friday after I get off work, because I have to wait till I get paid before I can mail it. Okay, now back to the common topic of Rendezvous, how you got into the skills involved. Now, how did you get into black powder?
You're going to ask me that again, aren't you?
Well, just because I know.
I got into it, but I got into it off of the idea that I wanted to do it, and I built my first muzzle loader, and then I got invited to a shoot, and then I went from there. And every payday, I put a ton of money into everything I had to get to the point where I got. And after about 3 years of doing it, I finally had enough of the stuff that I wanted that I just went ahead and started doing it pretty much full time.
Okay.
I got into the nature part of it by just talking to individuals. Like I said earlier, I talked to several different people and corresponded with them before I even got into black powder about how to survive out in the woods. I mean, I was a parachute infantry. I mean, when the green light comes on, you don't know where you're at. And you only got so many days of rations on you. So if you can feed the group you're with, then you're better off. Most people,
they're supposed to be able to feed themselves, not just you feed them. But
but when you're fighting force, though, and you hit the ground, and maybe 4 or 5 of you, or maybe just 2 of you, I had you might say that the inclination that the people I want to get stuck with are going to be the guys who've never been outside other than the Army.
That's true. I've met a lot of people. Please forgive me if I'm walking around. I'm just trying to find my mouse.
Yeah. I just got into the nature part of surviving, and then got into black powder because that kind of went right along with it, and the door opened for me.
That's cool. My dad was a Marine. And
sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I mean, he didn't believe in me taking things easy. When we camped, we didn't have a trailer. We didn't have we had a tent. And when you cooked, you didn't have a camp stove. You had the campfire.
Yeah.
And everything you had to cook, you had to do it over the fire. If you had the fire, you had to cut the wood, and then all this other fun stuff. The only extravagant thing we had was a cooler and a very big, giant cast iron skillet.
Yeah.
One of those really freaking huge, big ones. I'm not sure if you recall those, but this thing's 2 dozen eggs and like 5 pounds of bacon all at once, and there's still room on the skillet. That's what I grew up with. Okay, what Evan was asking, what kind of food do you bring along to this event? We touched a little bit upon this stuff, but it depends on what you can carry or how much you want to carry.
Yeah, but it also goes to convenience too. I use a lot of kind of modern stuff, but whenever I want or whenever I have to, I can go ahead and get whatever I need right there. I mean,
right.
It could be a half a dozen birds for all I know. It just depends on what gives me the opportunity.
Right. Or fish for that matter, even.
Yeah. But you carry whatever you want to eat, and if you bring something that's going to be perishable, make sure you have enough stuff to keep it cold.
Or pre-cook it.
Yeah. Or you cook it up and you're done with it, you know.
Okay. Game Foul Tristan was asking what he won, and I'm going to show him. Tristan, this is what you won: a dragon-headed Firesteel. You use it with a you can use it with a piece of chert or flint, or you could use a piece of quartz, a piece of jasper. You'll know what kind, but you can just try it out. We'll see what.
Make sure it's sharp.
Bob, Game Foul is a boy. His name is Tristan. Just to let you know. But this is what you want, Tristan. It has got some really cool features other than the dragon head. It's a really good sparker. I tested it myself. It's made from a file, so it's got good steel for that. It's a decent sized, not too big, not too small. Not going to scrape your knuckles because it is actually pretty tall, if you noticed. Not very, I mean, to me, it's not very wide, but it'll work, and it should last you a long time. And you could use it for sharpening your tomahawks if you have one, or a hatchet or axe or whatever. Even your knife, my good touch up on your knife if you need to. What do you think, Ron? Any other uses we can come up with this?
Yeah.
What other uses can we come up with this besides maybe a blanket pin if you want to go that route?
Yeah, you can use it for a blanket pin. You can even use it as a what's the word I'm looking for? Say you're trying to tighten something up that, you know, like your tent, and you want to get it tight, you can use that there, or basically like a clevis or a snap link. You know, pass your rope through both ends of it and use it to tie off with, and
that's
torque down your tent.
Like a clove hitch, sort of.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't even think of that. That's a good idea.
There's all kinds of things you can use them for.
Especially since it's an enclosed circle, oval, and there you go.
I wouldn't rappel with it.
No. No.
It's hard enough to probably break if I used it.
I don't know. It depends on how heavy you are. I'm not
That's
very
what I'm saying, you know.
How tall are you, Ron? I'm just curious.
I'm 5'11". I weigh about 185. I used to be 5'11", weigh 250. But now I'm back down.
I'm 5'8" and I weigh 280.
Yeah.
I'm short and fat. But
sometimes short, fat, and old is what you need.
My wife still loves me. That's all I'm I gained every pound because of her cooking.
Yeah.
I will tell you that. Rob, if you want one of these, I can help you find one. Please bear with me. I just got to get a hold of my friend Snake. He runs the Hissing Serpent, which is a VU merchant booth. So he's got a lot of interesting stuff, Ron.
Yeah.
And he knows the person who makes these. So that helps. But
I'll look it up on the internet after a while and see what I wanted to get in onto the things about that now. I've got some things here I want to show since you've made your drawing. One of them is Char Cloth.
Oh yeah,
now,
go right ahead.
Here's what I've always been taught to use for Char Cloth. Now, what I'd use is I take cotton long underwear, which has a lot of ribbing in it, and I char it. Get in a right spot there. Cut into small squares about 2 inches square, and I've got my small jar with me. I've got a 1 gallon. I've got a 1 gallon pickle jar. It's full.
Wow.
And what I do to make it is I use a tin, and this is a tobacco tin. It's a small one.
Right.
It's probably 4 inches in diameter or close to it. And what you do is you just put a hole in the top of it. So you can see the hole right there in the middle.
Right.
Punch a hole in the middle of it. Put your material inside of it. Screw it down nice and tight. throw it on the fire or put it on your camp stove or whatever. Let it smoke. When it stops smoking, pull it off, let it cool. Once it's cold to the touch, open it up, take your char cloth out of it. Now, you don't have to use a tobacco tin. You can use these other little tins that you find in yard sales and stuff. This is one that had cookies, I think, in it. Then the same thing with the hole in the center of it. And then if you really want to get nuts like I do, get you one of those fruitcake tins.
I know someone who's actually used those in conjunction of using the all cotton washcloths.
Well, you can use those too. I use the cotton, and it has to be 100% cotton. If it has any polyester at all, it will destroy it.
Oh, it will do more than that. It will smoke like crazy, and yeah,
it'll literally melt the stuff up, and it'll be just a mass of crap by the time you get the tin opened up. But with the char cloth, when you make it, when you make it, it'll be kind of lumped together, but you can pull the pieces off because they're still quite durable. I got a whole jar full of them here. Well, not quite a whole jar, three-quarters of a jar.
The press is really nice.
You can take them off and you can stack them in a like an adenoids tin or like what I have here is a like fire tin. Yeah.
Altoids. I've got a little bit in here, not to the extent you do, but
the thing that you want to do is if you put it in an adenoids tin, make sure you wrap it with a piece of electrician's tape to keep it waterproof.
Also, you can also, with the hole in the top, what I use, because I make mine in the Altoids tin, you can put this in a Ziploc bag and it'll help keep it, dry as well.
Right. Yeah. If you take any tin that has a tight lid on it, it could be a round tin that you get candy in or cough drops or whatever.
Right.
And you punch a hole in it. When you go and when you get it off the fire, it's cooled off. You open it up, look at it, make sure it's still good. Lock it back down. Put a piece of tape around it, and then put a little piece of tape right over the top of the hole to keep it from deteriorating from the
moisture out. Yep.
Yeah. And then you're good. I mean, this one I showed you today, that stuff's been in there over 20 years, and it's still good because I wanted to show you guys. I went and pre-made this small bird's nest, and right there in the middle, I've got a piece of char cloth.
Good size piece of char cloth, which is nice.
Well, it's not a big piece. It's the size I get, about 1.5 by 2 inches.
I'm gonna have to up my sizes on mine just to make it work better.
Well, when you're blowing it, and I wanted to show this, when you blow it into a fire, you want to constantly increase your energy going into. You want to keep blowing harder and harder on it until it ignites your bird's nest. I call it a bird's nest because that's what you do with it. You make a little bowl out of it, put your char cloth in the middle, strike on it with your flint and steel or your ferro rod or whatever. And once you get a spark on it, you start blowing on it, and as you do that, you increase your pressure around it until you got it into a ball, and you just keep blowing on it, but you blow harder with each breath, and then it'll ignite, and it'll do that. If you're proficient with it, you can do it in about 15 seconds. You'll have it from striking time to fire in this bundle, ready to throw on your tinder. Stick it down the ground, put your tinder over it, fire's going. And I was going to show this tonight.
Go right ahead.
I'll strike one up and show how it's done. So bear with me for just a second while I get this set up. I got to do it on one of my old drawers here, so I don't burn my lap up. But on your steel, you want to make sure your edges are sharp on your flint. Okay? And you want to make sure it sparks real good. And this, well, striking pretty good right now.
Like that.
Yeah. And now I'm going to go ahead and strike this into my lap here. I got a box here. I'm doing it on inside of a metal bowl. So you don't want to do it on something, paper plate or nothing, if you don't want to burn it up. Oh, come on. I'm doing it waist high here. I'm not used to doing it this high up, but I'll get it. Give me a few seconds here. Let me do it on the table better. I'm almost hit myself in the face with it. Here we go. Ah, I done it easier and quicker earlier. Now I can't get it. Come on.
It's not one of those quick and easy methods, folks.
No.
It takes a lot of practice.
And I practiced it, boned up on it earlier, and now I can't get the daggone thing in my hand right.
Ron, I got it.
Hold on. I'll get it. I'll get it. Hold on.
I got mine. Ron, look. I got mine.
Got your what? I can't see you, Ron. Okay. Ah, gosh.
It went out.
That's what happens on live TV.
I will be careful. Oh, they want to know if you can adjust your camera so they can see you do it.
Well, I have a hard time since I've just got a phone.
He's using his phone, everybody. That way he didn't have anything to hold onto his phone to adjust.
Yeah, I don't have a real camera or nothing. Ah, it's dancing all around my char cloth. I'm not hitting my char cloth here. It's going everywhere but the char cloth.
Ron, when was the last time you actually practiced?
Actually, I do it quite a bit, but I'm on live TV right now, so
yeah,
all kinds of stuff happens on live TV.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was going to tell you another good option you could use for folks for making char cloth, the all cotton makeup pads.
Yeah,
really well too. They're the right size. You don't have to change anything. Just char them up and use them up. They're
my
also
splint
really
is
thick.
just destroying itself.
I'm
getting their piece of flint out. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I got it.
Okay.
Okay, now once you get it going, you put it in this ball here. Let me get my bowl here. Increase your air.
Steady at first,
Yeah. There you go.
See? Look at that.
Ah, the bowl's getting hot.
No kidding.
Let me take this outside.
You look like you're doing the magic. Okay. But I will get this fire starter out to people, out to the Tristan once I get his contact information, which I will check out right now. I am going to check my face. Okay, I'm checking my.
Okay, I got to turn on my fan here a minute. Ventilate the rod.
Okay.
Okay. I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, that was really bad.
I bet. Like I said, you look like you're doing a magic trick with the bowl. Yeah.
Now, I used a metal bowl just so I wouldn't burn my garage down. I got about 8 pounds of powder right behind me here.
Yeah. Do not
like to live on the
my
edge.
channel, Ron.
Huh?
Don't explode on my channel, please.
No, it ain't gonna happen. I like living on the edge, though.
Hey, hey, Heath, how you doing? You just missed the drawing.
Actually, I have a fire steamer right next to me, so it doesn't make any difference. You know, I
Right.
already got it out.
I'm
But
not sure if you
you
know
know,
Frontier
fire
Survival.
department around here also knows that if my house is on fire, my garage is on fire, back away from it.
Yep. Do you know Bushcraft Ted or Frontier Survival?
Say again?
Frontier. There's two people in the chat. Frontier Survival. Do you know him?
No,
Okay. Or Bushcraft Ted Survival.
I've seen his every now and then. I don't get too many notifications when things come on.
Right.
You know, unless I've had it in the last few days, I get a notification. But other than that, if I don't see it for a week, I won't get any notifications. I'm probably already subscribed to those guys.
Yeah. Frontier is the person who won my last. Let me make it.
Yeah.
Even. He won last time when I did a giveaway for one of these. So
Yeah.
I have not seen the video for him using it yet, but he says he has. So I'll take it.
Yeah.
As good. But I had, for those people who didn't know, I used a dice to figure out who won, and I'm glad that it was just someone totally random.
Yeah.
You can't get more random than a dice rolling in a World War I helmet. It's one of those things. Good to see you too, Heath. Let's see here. We did the fire starting thing. What is your favorite? Do you use actual flint? You use chert? You use quartz? What's your favorite?
Well, flint is the best.
This stuff
that
here.
I found.
This stuff right here.
Yeah. This last one I use it. This small piece I used here is a piece of Carolina flint that I picked up in Flint Hill, North Carolina. I picked it up in the road, so I don't know. It may not even come from North Carolina. I don't know.
But it's
a good one.
Yep.
And this other piece I have here, this in here, it's kind of a pinkish flint or a pinkish quartz type flint. It's a good one. I found it in a creek one time, and this thing here is actually shaped like an arrowhead.
That's pretty
good.
I
don't know if it was or not.
Or was it a bad attempt that didn't make it?
Yeah. You probably said, oh, crap, I just broke the tip off my spear, so now I have to make another one. I got a spear tip.
They're asking if you have a channel.
Huh?
They're asking if you have a channel.
I don't have a channel. I can't get on to make a channel. They won't let me because I guess I've posted too many sarcastic things to some of these different sites, you know. Tells me I have to have 1,000 subscribers. I can't go live until I get that. And since I'm on an iPhone, I don't have a computer. They won't let me get on it.
Can I make a suggestion then, Ron?
Well,
I use StreamYard.
Yeah.
And you can use it for free. And you can use
I'm already subscribed on to StreamYard. And
you could use StreamYard to do your posting and do your lives. That's what I do.
Okay.
So
does that go on to YouTube? Whenever I tried to use YouTube, I pressed the live at the bottom, and it tells me I have to have 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
And I've only got a couple people follow me, I guess. I don't know. I don't know who they are. But I don't have enough people to do anything with it yet.
Well, you don't need 1,000 subscribers to go live on StreamYard, which you can connect to YouTube, which is what I use, because I have under 1,000 subscribers myself.
Yeah.
But my subscriber count goes up to 1,000, drops down, goes over 1,000, drops down. I've been like a yo-yo for the last 5 months.
Everybody has.
I mean, I had 1,033 subscribers. Now I dropped back down to wherever I'm at right now. I have no idea. But it happens more often than not. But you can use StreamYard to do your lives, which is what I'm doing right now. So that's an option you can consider.
Well, I hadn't looked into that. I hadn't looked into the StreamYard. I thought I needed StreamYard to have for like somebody, like we're doing right now. I didn't know I could do the lives on StreamYard.
Yeah, you can also without having a subscription like I do, and I'm sure you
Yeah.
do. You can do up to 5 people in your panel.
Yeah.
Without a subscription. With a subscription, you can go up to 10. And I've never had 10, so that would be totally awesome to get 10 people in here, but totally chaos.
Yeah.
That would still be fun because it's chaos.
Oh yeah.
But
I've been on a few of those.
Yeah, it's just like people talking over each other and all this other madness.
Kind of like
it's totally fun.
like sitting in a bar.
Exactly. I'll be like the designated driver, and everybody else just goes nuts. But it's what you can do. Okay. Cliff from Foxit Outdoors wants to know: can you use a fire bow?
Say again.
Can you use a fire bow?
I've never tried a fire bow. I never had to have to learn it.
I've tried over the years, and I call fire bows the bane of my existence. If my life depended on using a fire bow to get a fire going, I would probably die.
Yeah.
So even though I did once try to think of, well, I have bows. What if I used a real bow to make a fire bow?
You're not going to starve to death, but you might freeze to death.
Possibly. Welcome back, Gamefowl. Sorry, Tristan. Welcome back, and congratulations once again on winning this Firesteel, dragon-headed Firesteel. Oops, sorry. Yep, dragon. Now he's one of our youngest, one of my youngest Knox sets. We don't call him. Well, let's see, not subscribers. What's a good word for it? Well, followers, I should say.
Yeah.
He's 15. Evans is the next oldest. He's 16, but Evan is freaking tall, dude. He is 6'4" at 16.
Good grief.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But he was also, both of those guys are totally awesome people. So they're here every week. They actually comment, they chat it up, they everything else. Even Evan and both Tristan have been both on my panel. So they're good. They're good guys. Well, I want to get Ted up here and Frontier up here eventually. Pretty much everybody in my chat has been on my panel at one time or another, which is cool. There's actually a person who's in here somewhere. I don't know where she's at. Her name is Victoria, and she's doing I'm not sure if you heard it or not. She's crocheting a hammock out of paracord.
Yeah, she was there last week.
Yeah.
Or the last show. I said hi to her earlier.
Yeah. She's pretty cool. But I think everybody's cool in my chat because we complement each other with our different styles, our different techniques, our different outlooks. And I talk to everybody. What part of the country is Ron from? He is
Montana.
From Montana at the moment, but originally from
Indiana.
And
born in Georgia. Spent most of my adult life in North Carolina.
Grace is from Indiana.
Yeah.
And Will is from Washington. Cecilia is from Quebec, Canada. Frontier is from India. I want to say. Oh, please forgive me, Heath. I know I just sent you. I just mailed you your thing not too long ago. But
probably the right address.
Hey, BC, how you doing? I didn't realize you were in here. British Columbia. Guess where he's from?
Yeah.
But I mean, I get people from all over. I wanted at one time. I almost had enough people to cover every time zone.
Yeah.
On the planet. I thought that would have been freaking cool just to say I've done it, because I actually had someone from Hong Kong up on my panel once just to say hi.
Yeah.
But I have a friend of mine named Steve who's from Australia who comes up all the time. and he was sitting there walking along there in where he's from, and a random kangaroo just came up. I mean, out of total live, a random kangaroo. You don't see that happening very much, just
Yeah.
and you actually might get a kick out of it because he's a snake wrangler.
He's what?
He's a snake wrangler.
Oh, okay.
A reptile wrangler.
Yeah.
Down there. And
I did it over at the hog farm. The Indians wouldn't touch the rattlesnakes. They always hollered for me to come get the rattlesnakes out of the daggone pig barns.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's.
I guess I qualify.
Okay, cool, Ted. I will definitely PM you on Facebook. We'll talk to that. Yeah. So we just started talking and all this stuff. Oh man, I learned so much from you guys and them, and I still want to know. Okay, Pemmican I've had in the past, but I've never made it myself. But because someone, see, what is it that they put in there so that I made it where I couldn't eat it?
Okay, the key to making pemmican right is make sure that you weigh out the amount of oil you have with the amount of meat you have, 1-to-1 ratio.
Okay. What's the best kind of meat for making pemmican?
Beef.
Beef. Okay. Not chicken.
I mean, that's a more common one. I mean, if you try to do with the deer, you'll use the whole deer up. I mean, you know,
not enough fat.
But you have to trim it. You have to trim it real good and get all the fat and gristle off of it and just have meat there.
Okay. Thank you for coming,
That's
Bob.
the key to it.
Okay. Bushcraft Ted is from Florida.
Yeah.
Bob Elliott is from Tennessee. The Frontier's from Kentucky.
I know people in every state in the United States.
Well, you got one from Iowa. Yeah, and like I said, Cornfed is from Iowa. He and we've been fishing together, so it's actually pretty cool. I've actually had several get-togethers since I've been involved on my YouTube channel and stuff. I've done backpacking trips. I've done archery get-togethers and fishing get-togethers, which is kind of the same day type of things. And I met Grace in person. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of JV Outdoors.
Yeah.
I met JV. He's actually got some stuff here he left behind when he was here last. His Bible is here. His personal Bible is here. So he's got to come back for it. Let's see here. There's Tyler Woods Bushcraft and a couple other people I met Grace's son, and it was just a whole bunch of awesome people. I'm not sure if you've seen the video from the archery get together or not. The shots if you get a chance, look at JV's channel, my channel, or Tyler Wood Bushcraft's channel. All three of us did different versions of the same thing. And one of them is my archery shooting of 2 arrows at a time, 3 arrows at a time, 4 arrows at a time.
Yeah.
I can hit, I was just showing off. That's all I'm going to say about that. But it was a lot of fun though. But I got stung by a wasp or a hornet or something on my arm when I was checking arrows out of the target.
Oh man.
Freaking thing hurt like hell.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that's cool. Someone new getting that striker. Let's see here, Cliff. You want to come up? Because Cliff has some really good questions. He's from Albuquerque, New Mexico, by the way.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you've ever been through there.
Yeah, I've been through Albuquerque a few times.
Okay, I need your opinion on this. When I first went through Albuquerque when I was younger, the place had a feel to it. I'm not sure if you ever know what I'm talking about. It's like the most peaceful place I've ever been.
I've always taken the highway around it. I was trying to go through Albuquerque, get around it to get somewhere else. I've never actually stayed there.
Neither did I. I was just driving through, just like that. But the thing is, you could always tell what a city is like when you first drive through it.
Yeah.
And that place was so peaceful for a big city for me. I don't like cities. But yeah. Oh, you have nothing to ask? Okay. Let's see here. Ted, how did you get into, obviously, does anybody have any questions for any questions at all, please? Because I'm running out of things to say. I'm sorry, Ron.
Well,
I
I could actually throw some commentary and probably get some of them kind of clued in.
Okay.
One of the things about being in black powder rendezvous and stuff is being able to take anything and make something out of it.
Right.
I mean, I hoard all kinds of crap. I'm not a real bad hoarder, but my wife says I am. But I can take certain things that I want to make and I can find me something to make it out of.
Right.
Yeah, it might take me a couple times to get what I'm actually looking for, but then sooner or later I'm going to have it done. Okay, it's the same way with anything that you want to do that may be in a, like, say you want to go out and do a winter camping and you're wanting to do a survival thing that you've been reading about or seeing on YouTube or whatever, or your friends have gotten into.
Right.
It's being able to basically take any situation and try to make something out of it to your advantage. And that's basically what it comes down to, is using your ingenuity that you're born with to figure out how to make it a little bit easier.
Right.
And it, a lot of people don't get that far into it. Most of them are doing it for the weekend, or they're doing it for just a short stay, and they never really get into the actual traditions of some of the things that go on. And
Right.
in today's world, the way everything's screaming around, I mean, if I was 20 years younger, I could take off and go out to the wilderness and stay out there till they quit hunting for me or until they find me, one or the other, you know.
Right.
But it's being able to, like, when you're in a rendezvous, you don't just sit there and pay out money and play. You also go in there with the ability to barter for what you're wanting to get from somebody who's trading things off.
Right.
And learning how to horse trade is one of the best things you can do at one of these things. And it gets to be real fun after a while. Everybody gets to know you. And then, things get a little bit easier for you. But you also learn from all that.
Okay,
so it's not just going out and shooting guns and having fun. It's also doing all the different things that go along with it.
Socializing, the historical aspect of it is another big thing that some people, are really into. They want to be historically accurate. Or there's some people like myself who are just, I'm not exactly playing at it, but let's see, what's the word for it?
Living the part.
I'm trying to live the part. That's harder.
See, that's the difference between reenactors and people who want to live the part. Okay, to live the part, you got to know a little bit more than just going to a reenactment and following directions.
Right.
When you're living the part, you're making your own directions to a certain point and still being safe around everybody else, because still against the law to shoot people. But
yeah, that's true.
You learn you learn to do things for yourself and not be dependent on others. That's the main character of the reenactors, because most of those guys, there was only two of them running around in the woods together, trapping beaver or whatever the heck they were doing. And they were at the mercy of the Indians, where the Indians wanted to shoot them or just let them fart around until they ran out of supplies,
right,
or help them, trade with them, But there's a lot of things that go in there, and some of the things is when you go into an encampment and you want to make friends with somebody, you offer them a gift. It doesn't have to be nothing big. It could be a piece of reenactment jewelry or an accoutrement or hell, taking in a chunk of meat and say, here,
Oh yeah.
and that opens up a lot of their eyes because they're sitting there going, I've been sitting here for 2 weeks and nobody has came by to give me a significant friendship. And that's what it's all about, is being friends with the people either you're on your same club or people that are in completely different areas.
Exactly.
I went to friendship twice and I did that. And I met a lot of people that way just by dropping them something that was time period.
Well, I decided to bite the bullet and I'm going to give him one of my old arrowheads that I found.
Uh-oh.
To go along with the striker. So he's getting a little something extra.
Yeah. Getting a historical piece with the flint striker.
Yep. So he's got some magnesium for a little extra easier, starting. He's got the fat wood, and he's got the striker and the flint. So
that's something else I wanted to tell you about. Okay, you talk about fat wood. Now, fat wood isn't that easy to find way out here. What I learned how to do, and I thought about this one day on my own. I'm sitting there going, I need to make something to strike that is impervious to the weather. So I went through my scraps of wood, and I always keep the little scraps and stuff just because I need a feather or a small piece of wood to block into a hole or something.
Right.
I made myself up some wax wood. What I did was I threw a bunch of small pieces I cut up, and I got a jar of them up here. Draw them down here. And I've given these out to people, and they just think it's the neatest thing because it's ingenious to their belief. I got a pretty good selection of them here.
I can see that.
Huh?
I can see that. I saw that.
Yeah. What I do is I put them in wax, hot wax, stick them in there, let them soak up the wax, pull them out, and let them dry.
Yeah.
And it's just like sapwood of any tree.
Like this one.
And it's highly flammable crap too. Yeah, it's highly flammable because it's petroleum wax. That's an authentic piece of waxwood you got there. Mine's man-made.
Well, look at this. I mean, I've got some bigger pieces too. Look at the big pieces I got.
Yeah. I used to have a bunch of that stuff, but I ran out of it over a period of time. And then it's like, I ain't got no waxwood. So I just kind of thumbed it from that point on. But taking small pieces of you can even use sticks for this.
Right.
Dry sticks, throw them in wax and let them soak it up. Make sure there's no bark on them. And that'll suck into the wood and it'll light and it's like a road flare. You can't hardly put it out.
There's actually a really quick and easy method I discovered a while back and may sound stupid for those people. Toothpicks.
Yeah.
Come on, you get a box of toothpicks, just dump them in, let them soak them up, put them in a little Ziploc baggie, and you're good to go.
Yeah, the thing I like about these here, even though they are kind of, some people say they're a little bulky and they don't want to use all that, split it with a knife.
Or break it in half.
Just tear you off a chunk about the size of a toothpick or however big you need it.
Oh, man.
And here, let me see if I can tilt my camera down here a little. Oh, I just messed something up here. Okay, here I am. I'm back. Okay. Let me pull out excuse me while I whip this out.
I haven't heard that phrase in a while.
Yeah. Okay, that one's a little too tall, so I'll just break it down a little bit. Take it, cut it down. Okay, get in my camera lens here. Take it and carefully stick the knife blade on it and then get your fingers out of the way and run it down. And you got a little piece of waxwood there. And then you got plenty for later.
Right.
Same thing as using the toothpick. I mean, toothpicks are nice, but you know, you might be out there for months on an end and not have, run out of toothpicks.
Well, like I said, it's just for emergency kit. That's about all you can use it for. Like a 3-day weekend kit. That's pretty much all it's good for.
Well, yeah, but the thing about it though is if you go into a place that like a reenactment you're at and you're doing a fire and stuff, somebody said, "What are you using?" So I'm using a piece of waxwood. They sit there and go, "Well, how'd you do that?" I say, "Here, want one?" And you just hand it to them, and they run away like a little kid with a piece of candy.
Yeah.
And they say, "That's the neatest thing. Look what I found, everybody." But it's one of the tricks of the trade. I mean, they had to do with what they had available, and a lot of times they didn't have wax; they used fat.
Yep.
If it makes the water makes the wood waterproof, it still lights up. That's all they worried about.
I've seen,
and you can actually start a fire with that shit.
Yeah.
Right there. I mean, it could be raining, and you can make that sucker light up. It'll burn, even though it's raining.
Right.
As long as it's not a torrential rain.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to light your fire with it, and it's hot enough it'll start warming up and drying out some of your tinder and your kindling.
Yep. One of the things about the bigger pieces that Will said is that you can feather stick it if you need to. And, And also, Evan wanted to know if you were part of a club for buckskinning events. You mentioned that earlier, but I'm not sure if he caught you. You're saying on that. I know I heard you'd say it, but he was wanting to know.
Yeah. No, I'm not actively a member of any clubs yet, or anymore, I should say. But that doesn't deter me from taking out my flintlock and putting on my stuff and going out there and raising hell with prairie dogs.
Also, a lot of clubs are not exclusive. I mean, if you can show up at a buckskinning event and they pretty much will welcome you, even though if you're not a full member. Generally, I've never had any issues at any events I've been to. They actually welcome you. They're just like, it's another person. Yes.
Yeah. You're another body. Can you shoot?
Yep.
You don't have to be in buckskins. You can show up in blue jeans or short pants, or
a kilt.
If you're a woman, you show up in shorts. You got a better chance of joining.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're not worried too much unless you go to a real reenactment, and then they want you to be within the time period.
Right, the 1800 type of events.
Yeah, if you go in there dressed in buckskins and you're going to a reenactment, make sure you got your stuff together, do a little research, and find out.
Right.
I've got a book downstairs, one of my many books, and it's called Tools, Traps of the Mountain Men. It's an old book. It's probably still in print somewhere. I bought it back in the real early. I bought it in, I think it was 78, but I've seen it since then, but I haven't seen it recently because I don't go to too many bookstores anymore.
What's it called again?
But it shows all kinds of stuff that they had that was being transferred out for rendezvous. The Rocky Mountain fur trappers had a supply wagons that would come out to the rendezvous and trade them their furs for gear that they needed.
Right.
Whether it was food, it was clothing, it was materials to trade with the Indians, all kinds of stuff. And some of these wagon trains were 30, 40 wagons would come out there and trade this stuff because they wanted the furs and these guys wanted the gear because their stuff was ragged out.
Oh, especially when it comes to like the things like they wanted, like tobacco was a good one that they wanted, or chew or chaw or whatever they called it. The coffee.
Well, tobacco in any form was chaw to guys that didn't smoke.
There was coffee was always a big thing.
Well, they had everything on there. They had traps because some of these guys lost some traps, or they lost a daggone mule that was carrying all the traps across the river, or fell down the side of a mountain, or wherever.
Or the
Indians stole it.
Or
or somebody else stole it,
Yeah,
you know.
that
But
happens
they
more
had
often than
to
not.
replace everything. So they said, okay, send out X amount of this and X amount of that, and they went from dry goods to weapons to powder to lead, everything.
And to,
It
actual
was a
sundries.
resupply, is what it was. It was an actual
Yeah,
complete resupply for X amount of people they expected to be there. And if you were late, you might not get anything.
yeah. They also had sundries as well. Stuff for homesteads and stuff as well for those people who are they had their own cabins and
But
such.
some of those guys back in the 1820s and 1830s never seen a homesteader until they started coming back, going to St. Louis to get more stuff because they missed the rendezvous.
Right.
They would trek from the Rockies all the way back to St. Louis and spend months, or they would take the Missouri River down to St. Louis and get supplies, and they would take off and go back out there again because that's all they knew.
Right.
Some of them were dumber than crap when they went out there, learned how to survive. They made it. And some of them were educated. There was a couple doctors. One doctor took out the 3 arrowheads out of one guy's back. His name was Jim Bridger, King of the Mountain Men.
I've heard that
He
name.
actually he's actually the first white man to find Salt Lake, and he called it Bridger Lake until the Mormons moved out there.
That's
And they
why.
called it Salt Lake.
Okay. That's why I knew the name. I've heard that name before.
He was the most famous mountain man of all. He ended up going to Fort Bridger area on the Black River and started a trading post.
Okay.
And the army came in and they wanted to buy the place for a Indian for a fort to fight Indians with, or to monitor the Indians with, I should say. And
did he kept it?
he was married to an Indian woman and he had a couple kids. Well, according to what I was told by the curator of the museum out there, he said, I'll let you have it, but you got to marry my daughter. He said that to the captain coming out there. He said, but you got to marry my daughter. So they did. They got married. Jim stayed there until his death. And then his wife was there until the cavalry moved out of there again. And I guess she came back east with her husband. But Jim Bridger and his wife were both buried there at Fort Bridger.
That's cool information. I never knew all that.
He was also robbed by the Mormons. They came in one night, and this is what came out of one of the biographies of him that was told before he died. The Mormons came in. They were jealous of Jim Bridger because he was selling stuff to the homesteaders coming out, and the Mormons wanted that bit of retail, and he was hoarding it because he was before they got to their promised land of Utah.
Right.
So they said, I want to send 20 guys up there. I want you to get rid of Bridger and his fort. Well, they went up there thinking, well, we can't really kill this guy. He's been pretty much beaten up by everything and he's still alive. So let's just go in there, harass him, and rob him.
Wow.
Jim Bridger wakes up in the middle of the night. He hears something. He wakes up. He runs into his main area there of his cabin, and he sees these Mormons in there who are ransacking his storefront. He said, hey, what are you guys doing here? And they said, we're looking for your goat. He said, well, wait a minute, I'll help you. That came out of a biography of him. It was written back in that time. And these guys, most of these mountain men, they wrote journals. The ones that could write wrote journals. And most of those journals ended up in St. Louis, and they were basically cached out of the way, and nobody really got to know anything about them until the late 60s, early 70s, so they started coming out. And I've got some of those journals that they had. I've got copies of some of those journals and autobiographies and biographies of them, like Joe Meek. And a lot of people don't know the history behind Buffalo Bill Cody. Now, I live here on the outskirts of the Crow Indian Reservation on the confluence of the Bighorn and Little Horn Rivers, right where General Armstrong Custer, brevet general, he wasn't really a general, he was a colonel, he was a brevet general, got waxed. And according to Buffalo Bill Cody's autobiography that he wrote right after he finished with his Western shows, he was one of the scouts for General Custer, and him and three other guys. There's 4 white scouts and 6 Indian scouts. The Indian scouts were Crow Indians. That gives you a history right there of why that is the Crow Reservation. They give them the reservation to protect the graveyard of Custer's men. Custer's not buried in Little Bighorn battlefield. He was taken back east to Washington and buried at Arlington, because he was also a Civil War officer at the time.
Oh, by the way, did you know that Buffalo Bill was from Iowa?
Yeah.
Yep, he's one of us.
I've got his book. It's about that thick.
LeClaire, Iowa. He's from Iowa. Good people come from Iowa. Just most people do. They just don't stay here.
Yeah. But anyway, Buffalo Bill Cody told Armstrong Custer, he said, "You don't want to go down there. Them Indians are hiding." And the Crows said, "No, they're not hiding. That place is empty, just women and children." So they went down there. Of course, history made it. Okay.
They lied to him.
Cody and the other 3 guys were told to go over to let me get the name. There was 3 different cavalry units on the hills. I can't think of the guy's name. It said go over there. Now, one of the reasons why he met his death at the battlefield was he didn't want to wait for his artillery and his Gatling guns. They were 2 days behind him.
He got impatient.
So he went in there underpowered. These guys are carrying single shot trapdoor 45-70s, and the Indians are carrying repeating rifles.
Wow.
Okay? So he was outgunned from that point. If he'd have waited for his Gatling guns, history probably would have been rewritten a different direction.
Well, if he would have listened to his, if he would listen to Buffalo Bill, he would have been smart.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. See, there's a big history. I don't want to get into it on the internet because you're liable to get whacked for it.
Oh,
but if people
would history buffs, so I like this stuff.
Well, the Crow Indians were the first civilized Plains Indians. Okay, right. They hoarded the fact that they would stay around the forts, and they became drunkards and all this other crap. They were into all kinds of weird crap at that point. When the white man moved this way, they said, "Hey, there's a meat wagon. Let's hang on to it," and that's what they did. Well, the Crow Agency, let me back up. The Crow Reservation was put up so they would guard Custer's battlefield grave sites for his men and the horses. Now, I was in the 520th Infantry, and one of the things I read in the history that was a government history was that the 520th went out there to retrieve the bodies. Now, those guys didn't die on that hill. Okay? I want to get that clear to your people. Those people did not die on that hill where they're buried. The 520th went down into the basin, down in the river area, and pulled them people out, put them on wagons, and they started taking them up the hill out of the Dagon River basin. They got to where they're at now. The horses were getting all skittish and stuff. The guys could not stand the smell of these guys who've been laying there for a week, So the captain in charge of that detail said, we'll bury him right here, but we got to take Custer's body back. So they buried him on that hill and put a mass grave in there.
Right.
All around that mass grave is where some of the Indians were there that got killed. And they were Northern Cheyenne and Sioux were killed by reinforcements trying to get down to him. They
Right.
didn't get killed in the actual battle. That happened down in the river area, about a half a mile from where the bodies are buried now. But there's bodies scattered, and they just buried them where they laid at. All these guys got put in a mass grave, and some of the horses had to be shot because they were so sick they couldn't get them back under control.
Right.
You don't hear that from the guys up there at the battlefield. They talk a completely different, friendly story about what went on.
They whitewashed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I actually shot him over one time. I went in there and I heard this, and I go, wait a minute, that's not how it happened. They go, no, that's the way it happened. I said, no, I read the history of this. I said, I was in that unit. I know the history. And here's the history. I told the people who were around that park ranger ordered me off of the battlefield site. I went back about a year later and took my aunts and uncles to it. And one of them came up to me and says, you want to get a guided tour? I said, no, I know exactly what went on here. And I took my aunts and uncles to it and told them about what really happened. According to the documents, that's how it happened.
Right. Okay. Let's see here. What else? I'm just seeing what else. Someone talked about video games, which is a little bit beyond me. Let's see here. I'm not sure if you've ever played any video games, Ron, but they're talking about something called Red Dead Redemption, whatever that is.
I don't know.
Neither do I. I think they said it's based in the same timeline type, sort of speak.
Western. It's been whitewashed, probably.
Most likely. Let's see here. Now, have you met very many blacksmiths at the VOOs that you've been to?
I didn't hear you.
Have you met very many blacksmiths?
I met one blacksmith out here, and he's a horseshoer.
Oh, yeah, he's a farrier, huh?
Yeah. He's a farrier. He runs around all over the place. I met him out on one of the ranches I was working with.
They make really good money.
Oh, yeah. If you like getting kicked by a horse now and then.
Oh, not just horses. They shoot more than just horses, but yeah.
Yeah, every now and then one of them will get loose and it'll kick the crap out of one of them. He'll walk around for a month with a bad bruise or maybe a cast on his leg for 6 months, you know.
Or the ribs are wrapped.
Yeah. Or get head butted by him.
That happens more often than not, even if you're not shoeing them. We had horses when I was a kid, so that's the only reason I know that. But I was never much of a rider, so I didn't have to worry about that. Welcome back, Jeff. Thank you for coming. You talk to your son-in-law a lot, so I know. It's okay. You missed out on the drawing. I don't think he was in on it, but Tristan from Gamefowl Outdoors is the winner. We have been talking some really good, interesting history things. I mean, awesome stuff about Custer. Well, not so much awesome, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Got little Buffalo Bill Cody in there, so an Iowan was least mentioned. That's good for me.
Yeah, well, you know, a lot of those guys that were back in that time, they were young guys when the fur trade was on, and they actually were participating in some of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know, I told you about Jim Bridger. His dad was a blacksmith in in Illinois, and he went out west on the trade to be basically a camp boy. He was only about, I think, 14 years old, if I remember correct. Didn't know anything about it, but he grew up in it, and he started going out as soon as they let him, and then he started trapping, and then he got to where he was at. You know, people like
Night Owls,
Jedediah
thank you for coming.
Smith. Jedediah Smith actually got killed by Ute Indians after he thought they were somebody else, and they shot him.
He shot first, they shot second, and he lost.
Huh?
He fought first, they shot second, and he lost.
No. He thought they were friendlies. He thought these friendlies. He rode up on them and they shot him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. My bad on that one. Okay.
A lot of those guys did a lot of different things, and they ended up having battles and stuff. But Jedediah Smith came up on Ute Indians and thought they were somebody else, and they ended up shooting him right off of his horse. His fellow trapper ran about 3 or 4 miles before they caught up with him. But that's something a lot of people will hear different stories about it. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that was written way back then about it to glorify a lot of those things. But the average lifespan of a mountain man was only a year.
Really?
Yeah, they either froze to death, starved to death, or got shot by the Indians,
or caught something.
Yeah. It's like that one in Jeremiah Johnson where the guy gets up there and finds that guy frozen to the ground. He says, "This is my gun, and I shot the bear that killed me." Whoever gets my gun, pray it be a white man and not an Indian.
Right.
But
that was
that's what happened. I mean, movie. Most of those guys, there was thousands of guys out here. I mean, thousands of them. Make a quick buck for
white either, folks. They were not all. They were not all white.
No. We had black guys. There was gosh, his name just skipped me. There's a black guy who came out here, and he was a well-known mountain man. I can't think of his name off my head. My age, you lose memory sometimes on names. But he was a well-known mountain man. Nobody messed with him. And he was a good guy as far as being able to make his money off of it. And he lasted a long time out here. And I think he went back. He either went back east or he went on to the California territory, which was still part of Mexico at the time, or mostly Mexican people were living there. And some of those guys went up into British territory, into Canada.
Yeah.
And they started families up there, and now some of their descendants are still living in Canada. I mean, people came from all over the world to come here. A lot of Germans came here, and they couldn't make it in the settlements, so they decided they were going to come out west. And then we had the big land grab that, go out and scratch off as much land as you want and it's yours,
Excuse me. Yeah.
And those guys became cattle barons and stuff like that, or they came out here and ended up getting killed by the Indians or by marauders of all sorts. The Indians didn't kill just everybody.
Let you know, it's worse.
See, the Indians didn't kill everybody. They also had to worry about marauders that came through just to steal everything they had, and they ended up killing them. I mean, it was a two-way battle. You could see a white eye there, a hair face, and he's there to steal your equipment or your house and your land. And some cattle barons had their people go out and kill the settlers that came in there and got on their land.
Was it James Beckworth?
I hear you.
James Beckworth.
Yeah, that's who it is. James Beckworth.
That's Grace came up with that, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. So
he was a well-known.
Just because I'm curious, maybe you might know.
If anybody's watched the Reveling out there, read the real account of Jedediah Smith, not Jedediah Smith. Gosh,
Jeremiah
I
Johnson.
just lost it. No. It'll come to me in a minute. I've read his book several times because it's just so good. He came out here with the first bunch of them, and he was with the group that brought Jim Bridger out here. That's how old the guy was.
Okay.
He was a mountain man coming out here, and they were towing that boat through the daggone dry washes. And they stopped one night and they went out to kill some animals to eat, and he got marauded by a bear. A bear just barred the crap out of him, and everybody thought he was going to die. And they left Jim Bridger and two other guys with him and said, okay, when he dies, bury him and then come meet up with us. Well, this guy was these guys were getting a little anxious. They didn't want to stay out there because they were in Indian territory. They were in the upper Missouri. And they were sitting there and they go, this guy's going to die before morning. Let's get our stuff and leave. And they went through his stuff and took his things out. And they told Jim, since he was just a kid, come on, Jim, we got to leave. So they left him there. And he woke up. Nobody's there. He's got to make it somewhere and survive. So he did. He basically crawled his way out of the spot he was in and made his way back. And later on, a couple years later, Jim Bridger sitting at a rendezvous. This guy comes up and shoots one of these guys that was in the group with Jim Bridger, shoots him dead in the chest. And the guy looks at him and says, that's for leaving me in the woods. And Jim Bridger said, are you going to shoot me too? And the guy says, no, Jim, you didn't know any better.
Wow.
That's what saved Jim Bridger's bacon.
Be well, Travis. Thank you for coming. Travis he's a vet too, just like us.
Huh?
Trail Trash Outdoors. He's a veteran too.
Yeah.
We have a lot of veterans in here.
Thanks for your service.
Yes, we have a lot of veterans in here. That's which is really cool. I love the stories you're telling because I'm just like enraptured here, like listening to all this.
Well, I'm not just going by hearsay. I've read the books on it. It was a fascination of mine to read these books.
Oh yeah,
and some of the newer copies I got were from the museum here. And one of them I got was on sale because nobody was buying it. And it turned out to be the one that they made the Reveling off of.
Oh, wow. You mentioned having a lot of different books and stuff. Did you have anything on the Foxfire books?
Yeah, I got 7 of them. That's when I stopped buying them.
Grace
all the way up to black powder making.
Grace has all of them.
Yeah.
I have one, plus a bunch of them on a PDF file.
Yeah.
The one I found was just an oddball thing. I just found it at a yard sale, but it's nothing. I could use. There's no pertinent information for me in there. Just the fact that it's there. But I got books 1 through 6 on PDF on my computer. It's on my laptop right now. It doesn't do me any good because I need to print it out and have a hard copy. But it's something.
Yeah. I went and got the last one I bought was number 10. And that kind of tells you how long ago it was. I started seeing these books back in the 70s. I think it was about 78 when they started coming out, and I started buying the crap out of them when they came out. And the last one I got was number 10, and it was showing how to make black powder and how to work on black powder guns and stuff. And
that's always good.
So that was a good one. So I got the recipe for black powder.
Jeff Jackson says, thank you for your service.
Thank you for paying your taxes.
He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
He's a good archer too.
Yeah.
My favorite joke when I go to VUs and stuff like that, when they ask me if I can shoot, but not black powder.
Yeah.
I pull out my bow. Then I pull out one of my bows, and then they understand.
Yeah, but that's an effective weapon. I don't care who you are. You can still shoot the same targets they're shooting up to a certain distance. You know,
Yeah.
I've seen guys do it.
And I'm a lot quieter doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got my 74-pound Black Widow longbow, but that's not my heaviest bow. It just happens to be the one I like using. But the lightest bow I have for me to use is a 55-pounder,
Yeah.
which some people can still consider heavy for some reason.
Well, depends on what you're used to.
I'm
You know, if you
all,
shoot it enough, you get that muscle memory for that one bow there. Or
Yeah.
with all bows. I mean, once you master a heavier weight, all the others are pleasant to shoot.
Oh man, someone told me to shoot a 45-pounder once, and I almost couldn't control it because it was too light.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that getting the feel of the trajectory was all off because I didn't have the oomph that I'm used to.
Yeah, but after a couple of shots, though, you probably had it figured out. You know?
Oh yeah,
It's still the same basics.
Okay, I shot a 30-pound bow, 145 yards, just to see how on a clout shoot. A 30-pound bow. I thought that was pretty impressive. 130 some yards or 100 whatever yards. But
I shot my 76er one time and hit a house. I'm not sure how far away it was, but it was pretty good distance down the block.
Ouch.
Yeah, I landed in the roof. I was lucky. After that, I made real good and certain I had my fingers snug on the string.
Right.
It slipped off my finger as I was drawing. I just about had it drawn all the way back as I was bringing it down, and I slipped.
That happens more often than not. Yeah, that's why you always aim. You keep your bow pointed down. By the way, Jeff also says nice pipe. He likes your pipe.
I like my pipe. I got 7 more of them hanging up here.
Yep.
All of them different.
I believe it was just Cecilia that's into pipe smoking that I know of. I'm not sure who else is, but they're in here somewhere, I'm sure. I'm getting a little rundown, so bear with me, Ron.
Okay.
I'm a little tired. We've been running 9-hour days, running 6 days a week, and it's just been a lot of hours. What kind of black powder rifles match the era? Is a question for you.
Okay. The smooth bore Zolvanes, they were a trade rifle, and in flintlock. You don't make them in cap that are time period. Your Hawken rifles and full stock rifles. A lot of people don't realize that the first bunch of full stock Hawkins that's the Hawken shop put out, Sam Hawken, were full stocks. You know, they looked like a shortened version of a Tennessee squirrel rifle, except they were 54 caliber.
Okay, I've heard of those, but I've never seen one.
I've only seen one of them, and that was a real one. It was an original Sam Hawkins, a friend of mine had. His dad was a collector, and when he died, he kept all the black powder guns, and his brother got all the cartridge guns. But he had a Sam Hawken full stock, and the rest of them were all half stocks. Of course, he had a whole bunch of different. He had close to 150 rifles that his dad had collected in just black powder.
Wow.
And those were front loaders. Those were front loaders, not counting the cartridge guns that his brother got. A lot of those were the old 76. The damn. I can't think of it. It's the one that it was a lever action that didn't have the 4 stock on it.
That's out of my area of expertise. I know bows.
Yeah, I can't think. Somebody in the chat probably heard it, and they probably know what I'm talking about. But before Winchester bought that company out, they produced a rifle that held 14 44-40s in it, and it was quoted as being the gun you could load on Sunday and shoot to Saturday. Shoot 2
Wow.
rounds a day and still make it to the weekend.
Foxhead Outdoor says Henry.
Yeah, the Henry. I couldn't think of the name.
Okay, Jeff Jackson says he just got done smoking a bowl of Mac Baron Cherry Ambrosia and his mellow root pipe.
Yeah.
So there you go. And Cecilia is working on drying her homegrown tobacco.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I'm smoking the cheap stuff I can find locally. It's been in here for so long, I forgot what brand it was.
Evan is saying his brother is building a flintlock, and he asked, is it cheaper to build rather than buy?
Well, it's cheaper to build. I mean, I met a guy who was my union steward when I was out of the Army there in 79, and he used to build flintlocks, and he built me one. Well, no, I take it back. He was building flintlocks, but he gave me a Herschel flintlock.
Okay,
made by Herschel, and William Herschel out of them Pennsylvania, I think it was. And it was a 45 caliber squirrel rifle, basically. Full stock, 36-inch barrel. A joy to shoot. And they had one of his locks on it. But it was all flat spring lock, and it was a double set trigger on it. But that was one of the best shooting rifles I ever shot.
What happened to
black
it?
powder. It was probably 60 years old when I got a hold of it.
What'd you do with it?
I give it back to the guy when I got done with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I give it back to him. I say, here's your rifle back. Oh, you can keep it. I said, no, I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to lose it.
Right.
I shot it for about 6 months. And you know,
of you to give it back.
Yeah, I give it back to him. I got a shotgun when I was a young kid. I think I was about 14 years old. One of my dad's friends, who was like our grandfather, he said, here, you need a shotgun. He handed me a Stevens Model 99 16 gauge with a full stock on that bad boy. A full choke on it.
I've heard of them. I've never even seen a 16.
He told me, he said, do what you want with it, but don't give it to my son, because he was a collector. His son was a collector. He wanted that shotgun, and my friend was a little mad at him because of it. Well, a few years ago, I give it to his son-in-law, who him and his wife have several grandchildren now, but his oldest grandson was just getting into hunting. And I said, here, Kenny, give this to your grandson and tell him it's his great grandfather's.
Oh, wow.
So he bought it brand new in 1928, right before the start of the Depression. He said it carried his family through dinner and breakfast time during the Depression. He was a scrap metal guy. He was running around hauling scrap metal and stuff, and that's how he kept the family going. Was he was going out shooting everything with it and getting meat for the table.
My mom and dad, my dad specifically, was born in 42, and he had 10 brothers and sisters back then. Large family, as you can probably guess. And hunting and fishing and all that stuff was a part of life. That
second nature.
They had to. In order to feed that many kids, you had to. Everybody had to hunt. Everybody had to fish. Because back then you needed to.
But I'm more calling my adopted grandfather. He had 8 kids plus his wife and him, so he had 10 mouths to feed. And that's what got them through the Depression.
With my grandma and grandpa. 13.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I have a lot of
when you're living when you're living on a river levee, the kids are down fishing most of the day or running nets, and the old man's at work and
Yeah.
carrying a shotgun in the truck. And when he sees a couple rabbits, he blasts the suckers and brings them home. I mean,
I don't know if my
change.
grandpa or grandma did that, but I believe they did. Every day after, if they got to go to school, they actually had to hunt every day, whether it was season or not.
Yeah.
And
He always told me, he said, just remember, one shot, one animal.
yeah.
And that's what I went by. You know, learn how to make that one shot count instead of blasting away 5 or 6 shots to get something.
Well, my grandpa gave my dad one shell. Made him make sure you come back with something.
Yeah.
If you don't come back with something, you don't get a shell for a while. You got to, I'm not sure what they used, but they weren't allowed, they only had a few shotguns back then, or rifles or whatever. I can't remember what my grandpa said.
Probably a 22. I mean, a lot of guys took a lot of things with 22s. How there was even an Indian woman out here killed a grizzly bear back at the turn of the 1900s with a 22.
Must have been one heck of a shot.
Oh, she snuck up on it. It was eating some of her chickens, and she snuck up on it, shot it at the base of the skull, and killed it.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah.
I've got a 22.
But it was preoccupied. She said it didn't even know she was back there.
Right.
And she hit it in the back of the head, right at the base of the skull, and dropped it. And the family ate good for the rest of the winter.
Oh, they also had a fur coat.
Yeah.
With very little damage, apparently.
Oh, yeah. But no, you can do a lot of things. I mean, people sit there and they say, why do you mess with a muzzle loader when you can use a regular gun? I said, well, just think of it for a minute. I said, what are you going to do when you run out of shells? Well, I have to go to the store. I said, I don't have to do that. I make my own round balls. I can make my own powder. And I have a flintlock. I don't need caps. All I got to do is worry about replacement parts.
I'm pretty similar with my stance on bows.
Yeah.
My arrows are reusable. And if I need, I can repair them to a point. I can do one thing that's actually pretty cool.
One thing that's really neat, though, is just because it's primitive don't mean it's effective.
Or ineffective.
Yeah, all weapons are effective. I even have a daggone shepherd's sling.
Oh, okay. I've seen those.
Yeah. I got mine. I made mine off of half of a guidon pole. I wanted a good piece of hickory, and I just happened to have that chunk of guidon pole got broke. So I made a shepherd's sling with it. A little bit of paracord and a piece of leather. And I've heaved golf balls pretty good distance with it. But it's basically for up close and personal. Within about 25 yards, you can put a massive rock in that bad boy and literally pound something with it.
That is sort of like lacrosse in a way. Let's see here. I plan in the future, if I can get some more paracord, I plan on using the inner strands of a paracord to make a Flemish bowstring for one of my bows.
Well, you got to remember the 20-pound stretch factor in that bad boy.
Oh, I understand that.
Yeah.
But that's why once you get it, it's going to be a Flemish style. So that's going to be the biggest difference than just using the whole thing.
Yep.
And it's going to be waxed heavily for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Then I'm going to leave it strung for a week. Then I'm going to twist it back down to the proper size.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to use it. But I'm going to make sure everything is done properly. It's going to be twisted properly. It's going to have the proper serving, knocking points, the whole 9 yards. And it's not going to be a true medieval style or even I'll show you the bow that I plan on using. It is a 55-pound draw bow, though. But this one came back out in the 60s, Ron. you might recall seeing some of these around. This is a Paul Bunyan 55-pound longbow.
Yep.
Fiberglass longbow. They were like everywhere back in the day.
Oh yeah, I had one like that.
And like I said, this one's 55 pounds. Right there. 55. Sorry about being upside down, but I hunted with this for years before I got my first regular bow. But this is the bow I'm making the string for. And I'm going to make sure it's going to need a 60-inch string due to the length and everything. So hopefully, if everything goes well, I can use it for going small game hunting again, because that's what I used it for.
You ever shoot turtles with a bow?
Turtles I usually catch by hand.
Not the big ones.
Oh no. Snapping turtles I usually caught by accident.
Yeah.
Because when I go fishing, I'd catch turtles around here all the time. Unfortunately, but they are very tasty. And usually with that, I use, if they're biting onto the hook, you put one foot on top of their shells and pull the string out as tight as you can, and then chop the head off.
Yep.
That's all you can do.
Don't play with the head; it'll bite you.
We're talking big ones like that.
Yeah.
The smaller one, like the painted turtles or anything like that, you just let them go. Because
yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't kill a painted turtle for some reason.
Snapping turtles are a pest, and they're also they go on safety hazard if you got kids around.
Exactly. Or dogs.
Get rid of them.
Dogs and stuff too.
I showed a guy one time. I caught a 35-pound snapper down there in the Carolinas, and I actually got him. He was kind of crawling through a small little stream bed. It had water in it. And I go, oh, there's a turtle. And so I shot it in the back of the head with the shotgun. And I didn't hit it in the head, but the concussion from the water around it knocked it out.
Oh.
So I got down there, I stuck my knife in its mouth, rolled it over, and then he cut his head off. And I had this thing stuck to my knife blade. So we take it back to the house, I clean it up, I pull the head off of, or pull the shell off of it, and the breastplate, cut it up, throw it in the freezer. And I go, now I want you to see something real good. I said, now think about this for a minute. And I walked back out there where I'd laid his head down. I said, you never play with this turtle's head, even after you killed it. And I stuck it thick in that daggone jaws of this sucker, and it snapped it off. I said, that damn thing will bite until he dries up.
Exactly. Cecilia, I'll be calling it at 11 p.m. my time. I believe, Ron, you're in the same time zone, right?
I'm in. Oh, is on somebody else?
No, I'm asking you. What time is it there right now?
Right now it's 9:43.
Okay, you're an hour behind me.
Yeah.
At 10 o'clock your time, 11 my time, I'm going to call it.
Okay.
Because I have to be up at 4 in the morning to get ready for work. I don't sleep much.
Yep. I don't either.
But it's this. Oh man! Not only got a lot of nostalgia just talking to you. I mean, because, dude, that's so interesting. Like I said, I can listen to your stories about the old days and from those journals and stuff that you have. Man, I'd love to read some of those. And the journals are nothing like the movies, folks. So don't take them as fact. And when someone says based on a true story, that's all they mean. It could be the name of the story, and have nothing to do with what was really happening.
So they made it interesting for the kids to read
or watch, depending on if they're into movies back in the day.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm an old Western fan of John Wayne. Yep. McClintock is one of my favorites, by the way.
I kind of like Rio Bravo.
Rio Bravo's good too. But I also liked his World War II movies as well as, the Flying Tigers and stuff like that.
The Green Beret.
Oh, that's my
That was
favorite.
an excellent movie.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
My wife loves it too. So I mean, we will sit and watch that one. And McClintock is also one of our favorites. But like I said, we will watch John Wayne all day in this household. My son's favorite actor is John Wayne, even though he was long dead before he was even born. He still loves John Wayne movies.
Yeah.
Oh, Ron, you're being asked to come back.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, my crew, my clan, they love you. I mean, they're awesome. You think you're awesome. You're welcome on my panel anytime, brother. Anytime.
Okay, well, if you want to, after we get done with this, go on to when you cut your stream and we can stay together, I'll give you my phone number.
Okay, I can do that. That's one thing good about StreamYard. You can, close the chat down and still be in the green room, so to speak.
Yeah.
We could Cliff from Foxed Outdoors and I usually end up staying out an extra half an hour just talking because we keep on losing track of time.
Yeah.
But this is the first.
I do that with other ones too, man.
It's just things just keep on going. It just like the Energizer Bunny.
Matter of fact, 101's probably wondered where I'm at.
Oh,
I'm on his channel quite a bit.
Well, he comes in here too.
I know. I'm just saying his show's on right now. Of course, he's probably already shut it down for the night since he's working now.
Right.
But he's usually off by 9 o'clock.
Time and checks on me. He helped me actually get up to 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
Initially, but I keep on losing some, gaining some, losing some, gaining some. I'm really hoping that I get back because I'm getting close to my monetization hours.
Yeah.
And once I get that, to me, that's just a milestone just to see if I can get it.
Yeah.
Because one thing I learned when I was in the service, I do things just to see if I can do them. And it's more fun to see, that's how I won my barebow competition a couple of years ago, just to see if I can do it.
I got to show you this.
Oh, man. That is freaking awesome.
Can you read it?
Courage is being scared to death, but saddling up anyway. Yes, that's a very good quote from him. And he was an Iowan too, by the way.
I got that for a friend of mine. He's a real big John Wayne fan, and I said, "Yeah, I got to get this for him." I also got another one, Roadkill Cafe. You kill them, we grill them.
Oh man, that's a good one.
Yeah, I got those at a truck stop out here.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah,
actually, John Wayne was born not too far from where I live now in DeSoto.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we love John Wayne, or Marion, as he is known to his hometown. Most people didn't know that.
Of course, you're not too far from where Radar's from, are you?
I actually went to school in a very small town near Ottumwa.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know if you were going to pick up on that or not.
Oh no. Here's the thing. Remember, I was Air Force. When I was in the Air Force, was an admin.
Yeah.
When I went in the Army, I became a medic.
Yeah.
Only thing I did differently, I was an ambulance driver, not a clerk.
Yeah.
That's the only difference.
I worked all the parts of the aid station before I went off to nursing school.
I never
went back to it.
When I got out, they changed my MOS to nursing just after I got out. So
yeah.
Cliff, we were talking about what usually goes on when we're chatting normally on normal Thursdays is that you and I end up talking for half an hour after the live stream is over.
Yeah.
So Cliff is he might be in the same time zone you are because he's in Albuquerque, which is south of you. Yeah,
about a day's drive.
Still south, but he's going to probably be getting sunburn while you're getting frostbite.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm about 5 hours from Denver, so you can see how far I am away from him.
I've been through Denver on the worst
That's a zoo.
snowstorm. Oh man. Okay, when I got out of the Air Force and I was heading home, I left from the Presidio of Monterey, and I went home driving forgive me, an 83 Dodge Colt in the worst snowstorm we've seen in years back in 91.
Yeah.
And I went through Evanston, Wyoming in that car, and it was 173 below zero with wind chill.
Oh, yeah.
And what's the funny thing is, that little Dodge Colt started when it was that cold.
Only had 4 cylinders to crank on.
Oh, it was a stick shift, though. That was the only good thing. It was a stick shift. So
Yeah.
that made a big difference.
Yeah.
But that thing made it through the worst snow I've ever had to put chains on. It was a front wheel drive, had to put chains on it and all that other fun stuff. I could pick up
I came out here in 96 and I went back in a snowstorm. I got all the way to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And as I pulled off, there was a state trooper at the top of the ramp. And he said, "Where'd you come from?" I said, "I just came in from Montana." He said, "Well, that highway's been closed for 4 hours."
Well, it was closed on the other side, not while you were in the middle of it.
Yeah, well, the only thing kept me on the road was the fact that I was driving near the daggone markers on the damn road. I couldn't see the road.
Exactly.
It was snowing like crazy, and when you're in South Dakota, there ain't nowhere to pull over unless you want to freeze to death.
When I was going through the Evanston, Wyoming, my heater, it was too cold for my heater. I mean, I had every pair of clothes I had on, and just, I was cold. The fact that I made it isn't a testament of myself. And unfortunately, that next spring, the engine blew on that little car, which really sucked. It was a good car. It made it through that kind of weather.
Yeah.
But it happens. It was what it was. Okay, in about 8 minutes, Ron, I'll be shutting it down. Then I'll get your contact information after that. I really hope Tristan, who I'm not sure if he's probably not here anymore, but he hopes. I hope he sends me his contact information so I can mail him his prize. I actually learned a lot from you today, Ron. And I probably can't wait to learn more. And I will definitely give you my phone number and get yours. My phone's right here. Good. Found my mouse finally.
Yeah.
It was sitting right next to me.
We only barely touched on a lot of stuff, but the people are probably wondering why I didn't get any deeper into certain aspects, like about the Tinder.
Right.
But there's one thing I wanted to throw to them, and I'll do next time, is about how to protect your Tinder. And a real good source for Tinder any time of the year.
I like using cattails.
Yeah, but you know what's even better than that?
Birch bark.
Huh?
Birch bark.
No.
I've always had no problem with finding birch bark. Pine cones?
We can't find birch bark out here.
I'm in Iowa. I'm going with what I can find. Pine cones work.
Hold on, I'm gonna grab a bag. I've got a big box of this stuff downstairs.
We'll find out where he's from. Okay, are you near Cheyenne? Oh, whoa! What is that? It looks like a pillow.
It's dryer lint.
Oh, then I will show you up. Okay, we're going to show up. My turn.
Uh-oh, he took off. Yeah, folks, and if you sit on that big bag, it gets real thin real quick. Zip lock it shut, and it's there until you open it up or until the bag goes bad. I'll show you some things next time I get on here and how to make it to where you can throw a few of them in your pocket that will make you a couple fires each. That wax wood or whatever you want to use for a tinder starter, you can sit there and cook all kinds of stuff up with it. Well, I think he's not going to come back. Must have had to run somewhere. Yeah, if you pick your flint right, or you pick your whatever sparks for you, even these techniques without a flint and steel striker, if you have a ferro rod, are still, the only difference is that ferro rod is more high speed than the flint striker for as long as it lasts. But with the flint striker, you can always find a sparking rock somewhere. You'll never run out of a fire making spark throwing apparatus. You can wear out your ferro rod or break it in half, as some of you probably have found out if you've used one or had it in your pocket or misplace it. And one of the things you can do if you have one of his kind of flint strikers, like you can't do it with this one, but with the other ones that come around into a circle or into a tier, you can actually put them on your belt and weave them right into your belt in between your belt loops, and you can secure it that way without having any problem of dropping it on the ground or anything. You'll have it right there on your belt all the time.
Okay, to show I got, at least actually, I got my belt right here.
Now just loop it through the belt and it stays right there.
And make sure you, with me, I would have to have the flat side towards you, not the belt. No, well, I was going to show you. This is I've been collecting this stuff for a while.
Yeah. You know how to preserve it? You know how to preserve it?
Well, wax helps.
No. You don't have to wax it at all. Wax actually kind of destroys it a little bit.
What do you?
What I do? Let me grab my jar here.
Jar or your bag?
No. I gotta get this jar of my material I use.
The bonus on using. Okay. Straw.
You heat the bottom of it up. You seal it with a little bit of heat. Cut it to the desired length you want. Take a piece of wire or anything that'll fit in the straw and pack that crap down there as tight as you can.
Like a ramrod.
Then you seal it again, and you've got you a small piece of, and there's that much right there, which is about 2 inches, holds enough to make 2 fires.
That's pretty cool.
I usually carry about 6 of these in my pocket.
But by the way, the same method that you just showed is good for holding up. You can do spices that way, and sugar and anything like that if you want to keep them dry in your pack.
But with the wax wood, you don't have to, because it's already waterproof. It's a petroleum.
Like spices and stuff, though. There's
Yeah.
no killing spices. That'll keep your spices.
Well, you don't want to do that with matches though, because they'll ignite when you get the heat on them. But what I do is I pinch them down with my Leatherman tool, just enough, heat it up and seal it. And like I say, when you pack it in there, you'll be surprised how much you can pack in 2 inches or even an inch of straw material.
I was going to say, that's
put a
what
lot
she
in
said,
there.
with how much you can pack in with about an inch, but that's beside the point.
Well, it just depends. It just depends on how I've already got them cut. Some of them are
Right.
cut long just to stick somewhere else, like into a map case.
Right.
I can cut them as long as a pencil, really, or just take the whole straw and just use it. But when you have a small one, you can cut the top of it off. You take your knife, you cut the top of it off, pull out a little bit of it that you're going to need to start your fire with. Then you reseal it. Keep the stuff dry.
Okay.
And then
Ron?
when you get done with it, or if you want to make a big fire and you need a lot, you just slice it, pull the stuff out, and then go make your fire.
Okay, I'm gonna let you know. I'm calling time. It's after
Huh?
11. It's 11:01
Yeah.
here. It's time for me to go. But I will say thank you for everybody who showed up. Be careful with pine cones. Folks are doing they explode sometimes. That's the seeds popping, by the way, like popcorn. But I need to call it. But you and I will stay up here because I got to get your.
The saga will continue.
Yep, we're going. I'm gonna try to keep this to once a month because otherwise I will not get any.
I
other
know.
done.
I know.
But we will do.
You can just give me a call a few days ahead of time if you want me to come on, and I'll be there.
Yep, I gotta update my belts because it's too small now, but got a good buckle. But I will see everybody next Thursday, 8 p.m. Central Time. Topic will be whatever I can think of, and I will talk to probably Cliff from Foxit Outdoors. We'll come up with something interesting. Blackout stuff, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure something. But thank you for coming, Ron. It's been a pleasure.
No problem.
I will still talk to you. Just let me close out the chat here.
Well, I enjoyed it.
Night, Evan. Good night, Ted. Good night, Cecilia. Good night, Cliff. Good night, John Boy, wherever you are. Good night, Evan. And again, congratulations to Gamefowl Outdoors. Tristan, if you're listening, please send me your contact information so I can mail out your prize. So good night, everybody.
Good night, all.
See you later.